surprise.
I wasn't sure if I could remember which house. It's you and your mother still, is it?
Yes. Well, actually, she's away in Canada at the moment with me brother and his wife, being a proud grandparent. Sit down, won't you, Tom?
So, how are you getting on then, Mary?
Oh, you know, not too bad. Would you like a cup of tea?
No, it's all right, thanks.
So, how about you? How are you getting on?
Oh, not too good just now. I've had a shock this morning.
Oh. Look, I'll put the kettle on. I'll make a cup of tea. Unless you'd sooner have coffee.
Well, not if it's too much trouble.
No trouble at all.
Registered owners, trustee car hire, back Victoria Terrace, Hartley. Any mobile in that vicinity, please?
Sergeant Parish to Hartley. Just round the corner, Joe. I'll attend.
I'm sorry coming round to someone you hardly know. It's a bit much, isn't it?
Well, I'm still one of the family. Still a bit, I suppose. Even if I haven't seen that many of Michael's mates for nearly a year or so now. You were one of his coffin bearers at the funeral, weren't you?
Yes, Michael and I had some good times together.
Were you with him when he got killed?
No. They're looking after you all right, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, the army usually does, you know. And I'm all right for now, living here with me mum. But you didn't come round here to talk about me, did you?
Last Friday, I left Jean. I said that was it. It hasn't worked. I was going back to the barracks. I actually went to my mother's for a few days. Until today. I knew Lindy was starting back at nursery school today. So I went to the house. I thought perhaps if I saw Jean taking her to school, then somehow we might talk. Only it wasn't Jean taking her to school.
A neighbour?
A man. A man she had living with her again as soon as she thought I was out of the way.
Again, now, come on, you can't be certain of that,
Well, it
can you?
wouldn't be the first time. And anyway, this time I was home. There were clothes, things around. I don't know what to do. I only know I can't leave Lindy living there with another man.
Michael and I, we never had any children. Perhaps that made it easier some ways. When he was away, I usually came here and stayed with me mum. They say Donovans are about the best solicitors. Why don't you go and see them and get some advice?
Well, you see, I can't.
Why not?
I'm absent. Absent without leave.
Oh, Tom.
I was due back in the barracks last Friday. Well, they'll be looking for me already. That's why I couldn't stop at my mother's any longer. And I did something else stupid. I hired a car under a false name and had an accident.
Oh, good morning. Could I speak to Major Garwood, please? Oh, I see. Well, is there anyone else I could speak to? This is Inspector Longton of Hartley Police. Thank you. Oh, good morning. I had a message to ring a Major Garwood, but I understand he's not in barracks this morning. Would it be by any chance a Major Alan Garwood? Oh, well, tell him I called. My name is Inspector Kate Longton. Thank you. Do you know what he wanted to speak to me about? Or should I ring back? Oh, I see. Right. Yeah.
Yes, Mum. Yes, Mum.
Oh, any news on the White Fiesta, Sarge?
It's a hire car rented to someone in Penningley. I put Glyn on it.
Oh, I'll be lucky if we hear something by Christmas then.
Come in. Army absentee. 5 days overdue back from leave from 3rd Battalion Royal Northamptonshire's at Scorley Barracks. Could you send Brian and Danny to pick him up?
It's a bit unusual.
What is?
3762493 Corporal Thomas Harold Warren. It's generally privates that go AWOL, not NCOs. You can't even rely on the army nowadays. It's only us holding together the frail fabric of society now.
Tom, you're asking me, someone on an army widow's pension, you're asking me to shelter a deserter, and
I'm
on
not
top
a
of that-
deserter, I'm an absentee. A deserter is someone who's no intention of going back. I am going back, but I need a few days. I have to get Lindy away.
Tom, I'd like to help you. I know you were one of Michael's good mates. You were all good to me when he died. You were with him in Belfast, weren't you?
Yes.
Were you at the riot in Ardoyne Street?
We were together in the same platoon, yes.
Look, I've not met Lindy, and I wouldn't want to do anything to hurt a child.
But would I hurt my own daughter? I only need a couple of days.
Are you 3762493, Corporal Thomas Harold Warren?
No, I'm not.
Yeah, we have reason to believe you are.
Well, who are you then? Look, come on, don't drag it out. What's the name?
He's not my husband.
All right, then. Who are you?
Don't tell him it's no business of his. If you want my husband, he's at Scorley Barracks, Northamptonshire. He went back at the end of his leave last Friday.
Well, that's just what he didn't do.
What?
And you say last Friday was definitely the last time you saw him, was it?
How many more times? Yes.
Look, mate, why don't you just leave her alone?
But if he's not in barracks, you've no idea at all where he might have gone.
No, I told you I thought he'd gone back to Scorley.
Do us a favour, leave us alone, will you?
And I'd like to see some form of identification of you, mate.
Don't show him any. This is my house. He doesn't have to.
Do you want to bet, love?
Or would you prefer to come down to the station with us? Well, sort something out there.
All right, tell him. Show him something. It's almost time to fetch Lindy.
Yes. No, that's all in hand, sir. I'm not no worries about it. No, nothing else, thank you, sir. Bye. Yes, Joe.
I thought I'd come in and have a word rather than say it over the phone in front of him. There's a company Sergeant Major Lofthouse at the desk asking to see the gaffer.
What's it to do with?
I don't know exactly, but he's with the 3rd Battalion, the Royal Northamptonshire Regiment, which, if I remember correctly,
It's where the soldier that we're supposed to pick up is absent from.
Thought you might well like a word, ma'am.
I certainly would. Can you ask him to come in?
Would you come this way, please?
How do you do?
Company Sergeant Major Bernard Lofthouse, ma'am. B Company, 3rd Battalion, Royal Northamptonshire Regiment.
Won't you sit down?
Thank you, ma'am.
You live here in Hartley, Sergeant Major?
No, ma'am. I'm a Northamptonshire man. I'm on leave for a couple of days. I've come over to Hartley to do some business.
What sort of business?
Well, regimental business, ma'am. See one or two people and so on.
Some of it wouldn't have any connection with the Corporal Warren, would it?
Well, possibly, ma'am.
Sergeant Major, let's put our cards on the table. We know that Corporal Warren has gone AWOL for 5 days, and we've been asked to pick him up.
I was hoping to make contact with him, ma'am.
And you think if we'd already picked him up, I'd probably tell you. Well, Sergeant Beck, the Army absentee. Have Sparks and Kelleher reported in on him yet? I see. Right, thanks. Oh, they're still at his house. He's probably popped out or something. They'll be waiting for him. So, I put my cards on the table. How about yours?
Well, I've only one, ma'am. A request of you. Ask your men not to wait. Withdraw them and give me a couple of hours to go and have a chat with him when he gets back instead.
That would be most irregular.
Well, it'd save police time if he took himself back. It'd look better on his records.
You could persuade him.
Well, I know him pretty well, ma'am. I'm his company sergeant major. One of my best corporals, to tell you the truth, but, well, he's going through what we call a bit of domestic turbulence.
What'll happen to him if you get him back?
Well, that's not for me to say, ma'am. That's a matter of his company commander.
And that's Major Garwood.
Well, yes, ma'am. Do you know him?
I did once, a long time ago. How is he these days?
Oh, very well, ma'am. And if I may say so, a very fine soldier. Can be a little bastard sometimes, pardon the expression.
Excuse me. Yes? Right. Thank you, Joe. The officers that went to your corporal's home have just rung in. Apparently his wife said goodbye to him as usual last Friday, but she's no idea where he is now. They're not waiting there. They're on their way back.
Oh, well, thank you for that information, ma'am.
Excuse me. Yes? Uh-huh. Yeah? Yes, I'm free.
Thank you once again, ma'am. I'll not take up any more of your time.
Sergeant Major, I wouldn't be doing my duty if I didn't ask you. Do you have any idea where he might be?
None, ma'am. None whatsoever.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Morning.
Morning, sir. Ma'am.
Blimey.
What?
So that's how they make sergeant majors these days.
How did you know he was a sergeant major?
Now, how do you think? I asked Joe Beck.
Well, certainly got you summed up, hadn't he? Morning, sir.
Oh, natural air of authority.
Yeah, exactly.
And the sore throat. How's that?
Fine, thank you.
Hey, I care.
I know.
As a matter of fact, I only popped in for a minute on the way to court. I was wondering about tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Evening.
Tomorrow evening. What about it?
Exactly. You took the very words right out of my mouth. Tomorrow evening, what about it?
I'm sorry, am I missing something?
Oh, you could very well be, yes.
Look, with respect, I really do have a sore throat, and now I can feel a headache going on.
A meal. Tomorrow evening, how about it?
Can I ask you something? What birth sign are you?
Me? Cancer.
Yeah, I might have known. Approaching things sideways.
Really? Is that what we do? No, I've always been absolutely straightforward and direct. What's the answer?
What, dinner tomorrow night? Yeah, thank you.
Fine. 7:30?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can we make it another night? I've agreed to go on the sports committee. It's the first one, and I really ought to be there.
Okay. Night after?
Uh-uh.
Night after that, I shall be in London at the conference. Next year sometime?
I'm sorry. Let's get together when you get back and fix something then. I'm sure you'll know from your spies which nights I'm free, anyway.
Greaves, see ya.
As soon as she saw the river of porridge oozing through the streets, she knew just what to do. She ran home as fast as she could through the sticky porridge. When she came to the house, her mother was still shouting at the pot. Stop cooking! Stop bubbling! Stop! Stop! See how much of our lunch we've eaten? Nearly every scrap. Isn't that good, eh?
Yes, it is.
Little pot, stop, said the girl. Those were the magic words.
When it comes to sending two men out on a car ride to catch him, oh, yes, that's no trouble. You can do that. But if it's a case of kidnapping my daughter and running off with her, that's different. You're just sitting there doing nothing and letting it happen.
Mrs. Warren, we are not doing nothing. We're doing our best.
What are you doing? Tell me one thing.
Mrs. Warren.
It could be anywhere. France, America, anywhere in the world, couldn't they?
Mrs. Warren, believe me, I know how difficult it is for you, but it is no good to me at all just standing there shouting at me. Could you sit down for a moment? Now, the nursery schools say her father collected her at 11:30. Well, they had no reason to try and prevent him. After all, he was her father, known to her and known to them. But you say that when they told you, your first thought was he'd gone straight round to his mother's.
I'd only just learned half an hour before from your men that he'd not gone back to barracks.
Yes, so he went straight round to his mother's. Now, she says that although he had been there, she's no idea where he is now.
She's an ordinary, simple old lady. She'd be no good as a liar. I knew she wasn't covering anything up.
And you really can't think of anywhere else he might have gone?
No, I can't.
Well, there's only one thing you can do. Wait and see what happens, for today at least. We'll circulate a description, of course.
And in the meantime, just let him wander around with her.
Yes, that's what he's doing. A father's entitled to take his own child.
I don't believe this.
So, as far as we know, no offence has been committed where your domestic situation is concerned. Though, of course, we would want to satisfy ourselves that the child is safe.
Oh, you would? Well, thanks. Thanks for nothing.
She's gone off without any trouble. She's fine.
Tom, telephone your wife. Let her know she's safe. Or at least let me.
Mary, you don't know Jean. Just let me do it my way, will you?
Tom, this can't go on.
It won't. I've a sister in London. Perhaps I'll take her there. I'll have to give her a ring first, though.
Well, the phone's there.
Yes.
Tom, please do it tonight. Will you be all right there?
Yes, that's fine. Thanks, Mary.
Well, help yourself to a drink or anything you want, won't you?
Mary, thanks.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Kate Longton.
Of course, yes. Sorry, I don't get here very often.
Mary, isn't it?
Mary Marshall. Have you hurt yourself?
Yeah. Well, broken it, I think.
I usually get it just here afterwards.
Oh, well, good soak in a hot bath and early night should do the trick. It's nice to see you again. Enjoy your game. See you next week.
Kate?
Bye.
After all that, it was a false name and address.
Yeah.
How can you get away with hiring a car like that? Didn't they check the driving licence?
Apparently not. Back pocket job, I should think.
They deserve all they get, then.
Trusty car hire, slightly dodgy. Let's keep it on file.
Morning, George.
Morning, Mum.
Oh, well.
Yes, thank you, Mum.
In my office, George, when you've got a few minutes.
Right. Come on. Oh, where is it?
What?
The overtime return. This looks like a very good day to get it all okay.
Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
They tell me the going rate for that's 20 pence.
20 pence.
Inflation.
Hartley Police Station. Can I help you?
Hey, buzz off.
Yes, sir.
My bike's been stolen.
Hard luck. Tell him.
Okay.
Thank you, Mum. Oh, by the way, any news about the absentee soldier?
No, nothing. Apart from him making off with his daughter to get her away from his wife and the resident boyfriend.
Well, that's no offence.
No, I told her. Oh, well, we've got plenty to do. Let the army do a bit of its own running around for a change.
What, by the company's our major, Mum?
How did you know about that?
Oh, just casual conversation.
Marvellous, wasn't it? All you can do for today, she said, is wait and see. Well, now it's tomorrow, and I'm still waiting and seeing nothing. Oh, Bernie, you're his brother-in-law as well as his mate. Can't you think where he'd be?
Well, I checked his records before I left barracks. His only next of kin we go to you and his mother. Well, look, if he's taken Lindy, obviously he's not going to go anywhere what do you think of, is he? Are you sure about his mother?
Oh, it's the first place I went. She knew nothing about it, I could tell. Anyway, he'd never have taken Lindy there. She's old, she's an invalid, she couldn't cope.
So, who else does he know?
He doesn't know anyone. We've only been here a year, and half of that he's been away. Canada on exercise, 6 weeks in Cyprus with the UN, 4 weeks in Germany. We've hardly been here at all.
No.
Bernie, I'd get lonely.
So does Maureen.
Oh, Maureen and you've got it worked out. She likes being a soldier's wife. Being married to the army, I can't do it. I don't like it.
Look, 10 minutes ago you said you wanted to try again. Go to Germany, you said. 4 years, we'll have our own quarters. Make a fresh start. Oh, yeah.
For Lindy's sake.
Look, Jean, I think we better go back to the police and report that Lindy's still missing.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Is Inspector Longton in by any chance? Does she have a spare moment or so?
I'll just see. What name shall I say, sir?
What absolute rubbish. What do they think we are, wooden tops or something? Yes? Who? Oh, yes, certainly, show him in. I mean, they've got another thing coming, haven't they? Oh, my good grief.
Inspector Longton?
Major Garwood. How nice to see you again, Alan.
The pleasure's mutual.
Oh, sorry. Do forgive me. Joe, this is an old friend of mine from our dim and distant past, Major Garwood. And this is one of my props and stays, Sergeant Beck.
Sergeant?
Major,
Do please sit down.
shall I have 3 photocopies made, ma'am?
Yes, if you would, Joe. Oh, and do you think Danny could manage a pot of tea?
Yes, I should think so, without any difficulty, ma'am.
Sergeant?
I don't know what to say, except well.
Or how about well, well?
Right, son. On parade. Tea. In there, for 2. At the double. And wash the mugs out first.
To what do I owe the pleasure?
Well, oddly enough, I knew sometime I had to come and see a solicitor in the area to do with the will of an elderly aunt. So then yesterday, sending the phone message, and your reply reminded me of you, so I thought, why not drive over and make a day of it? And perhaps do some army business as well.
However many years is it?
18? Perhaps even 20. It must be, mustn't it?
It must. Gosh, I remember you when you were going to university. Liverpool, wasn't it?
Leeds.
Oh.
And I remember you when you went with the army to Gibraltar.
Hong Kong. Good Lord.
How sad we lost touch.
Mm. And your wife was... Oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten her name. The Anderson family. No, I haven't. Melanie.
That's absolutely correct. What a memory. And you, are you...
No, because you never asked me.
And you mean all the other young men...
Oh, they were just interested in my sister. She was the pretty one. Do you remember?
No? Do you know, to be honest, no. But you, though, I didn't forget you.
Really? Why?
Or shall I be truthful?
Why not?
Because you were frightening. You were clever, and you were bossy.
Thank you. Well, let's think what I can remember about you.
I dread to imagine.
You were very intelligent, or so you seemed. You were shy, and you were rather a prig.
That's absolutely right. All those years ago, and you had me exactly summed up. And you were a snob.
I never was. Well, yeah, perhaps I was a bit. Anyway, it was my sister you were interested in, too. Not me.
Absolute rubbish. I don't remember a single thing about her. Well, only that she had auburn hair. Oh, yes, and blue eyes, and a little snub nose and freckles. I suppose she was quite pretty, yes.
You see? You were smitten like all the others. Tell me about you and Melanie, though. Do you have any children?
No. No, actually, we...
Excuse me. Yes? Yes? Yes. Yes. No? All right, fine. Sorry. You were saying, you and Melanie.
Well, no, I wasn't, actually. Actually, I'm afraid it didn't work out. You need to be a certain kind of person to marry a soldier, or a certain kind of soldier to be a married one. So after 4 years, we divorced.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, it happens quite a lot, doesn't it?
Come in. Oh, thank you, Danny.
Thank you very much, Constable. That's very kind.
Help yourself.
After you.
No, don't, thanks. Excuse me. Yes? Well, I can't do anything about it now, Joe. Can you deal with it? Okay, fine.
I mustn't keep you.
No, really. Sometimes we're busy, sometimes we're not. That wasn't important.
Look, do you have time for lunch?
Oh, dear, no. Not today, I'm afraid. I have a meeting with some councillors at the town hall. It's a regular thing, and we usually make it a working lunch with sandwiches.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, it's very nice to see you again, Kate, after all this time.
And this goes here, Lindy. Look, like that, see? Look.
Mince for tea, something like that, all right?
Oh, sure. She likes pretty well everything, don't you, Lindy, eh? Take this, Mary. Please.
No, Tom, no thanks. It's all right. I don't want it. It's all right. Tom.
Yes. Yes, it's okay, honest. I'm going to ring my sister and I think we'll go there. I'm just waiting for the cheap rate, that's all.
At least ring Jean and let her know she's safe.
Yes.
She'll be going out of her mind.
Yes, I will. After dinner. When she's having a lie down.
Daddy, where's Mummy?
She's had to go away for a little while, love. She won't be long, though. She'll be back soon.
And Jenny Fingleton. Do you remember her?
Yes, now, wasn't she the plump girl with the funny teeth?
That's right. She's in London now. She's doing very well. She's a barrister.
Really?
Excuse me. Yes? Is it? Good God, I had no idea. Thanks, Joe.
I am sorry, I really must.
No, don't apologise. Will you be coming to Hartley again sometime, do you think?
I might. But, well, frankly, no, I don't think so. It's very much a one-off, coming to see about the arms estate and so on. The battalion's off to Germany shortly for 4 years, and I'll be going ahead with the advance party.
Ah. Oh, never mind.
But this evening, could we have something to eat together? I don't have to be back until midnight. If we ate early, it's only 2.5 hours or so from me on the motorway.
That would be lovely. Oh, no. I've just remembered I'm supposed to be at the sports club committee.
Oh.
But I have got a cold. I mean, we have these meetings every month. If I were to miss one, it wouldn't exactly be the end of the world.
Oh, marvellous. Look, I'll go and do my things I have to do. What time will you be free?
6?
6 o'clock? Tell me where to be.
In the Market Square, there's a hotel called the Globe. It has a very nice restaurant. Should we meet in the bar first?
6 o'clock in the bar.
Oh, before you go, are you going to tell me about that army business?
I'm sorry?
To do with your absentee, is it?
Oh, yes. You still haven't picked him up, have you?
No, we haven't picked him up.
It's quite unofficial. I just thought as I had to be in the area.
Uh-huh. We had someone else after him yesterday. He said it was unofficial, too.
Yesterday? Who? My Sergeant Major?
You wouldn't expect me to betray confidence, would you?
Oh, come along, Kate.
No, I wouldn't dream of it. Yes? Well, yes, I would. It was July the 12th last year. He got 2 years and his brother got 18 months. The defending solicitor was Arthur Brown of Brown and Wharton. Uh-huh.
Have you brought a photograph of your little girl with you, madam?
No, I haven't got an up-to-date one.
What about your husband? Have you brought one of him?
No, look, we came out in a hurry. I didn't think, did we, Bernie?
I can get a picture to you, Sergeant, in a day or two of the soldier.
Thank you very much, Sergeant. Sergeant Major, what a surprise.
Yes, sir.
Tom, what are you doing sitting here in the dark?
I thought I'd leave her. She usually has a sleep round about this time. Yes, all right, Mary. I phoned my sister. We'll be going away tomorrow morning.
Where to?
I know you wouldn't tell anyone,
But if I don't give you the address, then you couldn't, even if you wanted to. I'll just tell you the place. London.
Have you phoned your wife?
No, not yet.
So, two minds with one single thought here, Sergeant Major.
Yes, sir.
And both of us somewhat exceeding Army regulations.
What do you want, a curtsy?
He's too good a soldier, Mrs. Warren, to throw his entire Army career away.
Maybe you should throw it away.
Wish I could understand you, Eugene. Look, I've come. His company commanding officer's come. All we're trying to do is get him to be sensible and come back off his own bat. I mean, who do you expect? The colonel of the battalion?
What do you expect of me? To open a cupboard for him to walk out in front of you?
You must surely want to help us. Especially now he's taken away your little girl.
Oh, no, I don't want to help you. I want him to disappear forever with Lindy.
Where's your boyfriend, Jean?
He's out. Why?
Mrs. Warren, for your husband's good, and for your own good, your little girl's good, tell us where you think he might be,
No. Honestly.
Thank you very much for the lift, sir.
15:33,
sir.
Good time. When will you get back to your home, Sergeant Major?
3 hours, 57 minutes of the journey, sir. Change at Rugby.
A long way for you to have come over. A whole day after your leave.
Don't like to see a good man getting into so much turbulence, sir.
More me, now. You're related as well, aren't you?
Well, in a manner of speaking, sir. My wife and his are half-sisters. I suppose you could say we're sort of half-brothers-in-law. They're not very much like each other, sir. I mean, his wife and mine.
I don't know for sure, Sergeant Major, but I've got the feeling that she knows, or at least suspects, rather more than she told us, did you?
There's someone alleging that her husband's made off. She doesn't know where, with her child. I guess I did rather, sir, since you mentioned it.
Would your wife give information she suspected about your whereabouts, Sergeant Major, if you were absent without leave?
I'd like to hope not, sir.
Well, I have an appointment with some solicitors. Safe journey back, Sergeant Major.
And you to barracks tonight, sir. See you next week.
Come on, Mr. Rascal says go to bed. There's a good girl. There now. All comfy.
Daddy, I want Mummy.
Yes. Yes, love. Well,
Where's Mummy?
well, it'll be all right, love. You'll see. It won't be long now. We'll work something out. It'll be all right.
Planners say the demolition of the Wheatsheaf public house in Deansgate, which is still open, and St Matthew's Tavern nearby, are subject to a satisfactory replacement buildings being erected by a developer.
No, I was only waiting for you, actually. Did she go off all right?
Oh, yeah. Sure. It's comfortable. She likes sleeping here. Well, I could do with some air.
Tom, are you all fixed up to go to your sister's tomorrow?
Yes. We'll be leaving at 10 in the morning, if that's okay.
Well, I think you should think again about taking Lindy to London.
Mary, I have thought about it. It's only for a few days while I sort things out in my mind.
That's what you said when you first came here.
Yes, well, I need to get away from here. It's not easy, you know that. In the army, everything's decided for you, isn't it? Go there, do that, don't worry. We'll look after you. Just do as you're told, leave everything else to us. When something like this comes along and you have to make your own decisions, then you need time to do it. I have to think for myself.
Well, I think you should put first what's best for Lindy.
But what's best for Lindy isn't living in a house where her mother's living with another man. Mary, I'm taking Lindy to London tomorrow, so please don't try and stop me. I won't be long.
Have you ever regretted it?
No, never. Well, perhaps when Melanie and I... But I had to choose, and I chose the army. Each doubtless tells you something about me.
Yes.
And you, the police?
Oh, no, I've never regretted that, I don't think. Do you know, I've never really thought about it. Because no one's ever asked me, I suppose. What do you like best about the army?
Oh, the companionship. The feeling of belonging to one big family.
Leaves a big hole when you lose it.
Yes, you'd know that.
Suppose it must be even harder for army wives if something happens.
Inevitably.
I met this woman at the sports centre. I believe her husband was killed in Northern Ireland.
Really? Which battalion?
I don't know. Yours, perhaps. What's her name? Mary Marshall? It happened about 3 years ago.
Ah, before my time with them, then. I was at Staff College. More wine?
Yeah, lovely. Cheers.
What do you like best about the police?
Oh, the feeling it's useful, I suppose.
Are you going to stay in it forever?
Who knows?
May I ask you something personal?
If you wish. I don't promise to answer.
How is it you never married?
You want my life story in 1 hour? You'd be amazed. You would, really. Would I? Yeah.
Hello, is that Annie? Hello, can you hear me? Is that you, Annie? This is Tom. I want to speak to Mrs. McAllister, please. Mrs. McAllister. Is that 01246 Is that 01246 8021? Yes, well, is Mrs. McAllister there, please? She doesn't live there? Oh. Sorry then, never mind.
Next year I have to decide whether to retire at 43 or stay in the army for another 12 years.
What would you do if you come out?
Well, old soldiers don't find it all that easy to fit into civilian life.
Oh, what would you like to do? Oh,
Oh, I don't know. Like you, something useful. Perhaps even remarry, try again. Would you have me?
me?
Good evening.
Oh,
Good evening.
hello. I'm sorry, I would have introduced you if I'd realized.
A friend?
Well, sort of, yes. He's someone I work with. Well, for, to be precise.
Well, perhaps he's jealous.
Yes, perhaps he is. More likely he thinks I should be working.
Good Lord, I mean, should you?
Oh, no, of course not.
Oh, truly?
Truly. Look, I won't come to the car park with you because I've got to make a phone call.
Well, it's been very nice to see you again, Kate.
Yes. I've enjoyed every minute. Drive carefully.
Did you have a pleasant evening, Mum?
Yes, very, thank you, George. I was on my way home unless there's anything special.
No, I don't think so. Just been one phone call for you. Mrs. Marshall. Says she needs to talk to you, but didn't say what about. She'll phone first thing in the morning.
What name?
Marshall. Mrs. Mary Marshall. 12 Cranbourne Road.
Right. Thanks, George. One big happy family. So, as I was passing the end of your road, I thought I'd pop in and see you.
Well, sit down, won't you, please?
Thanks.
I'm sorry, I don't really know where to start.
But take your time. There's no hurry.
Well, you see, Oh, Tom. This is, Inspector Longton. When I phoned the station, she wasn't there. I thought I was going to speak to her tomorrow. That would have given me a chance to tell you first.
Corporal Warren,
Yes.
may I use your phone? Do you have your daughter here?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see her, please.
Well, she's in bed asleep.
To satisfy myself, she's all right.
Shall I fetch her?
No, there's no need to wake her up. George? Hello. I'm at Mary Marshall's. Can you send a car round right away? Thanks.
classic EastEnders from 1 today on Drama when Donna receives a mysterious phone call that leaves her distraught. Miss the latest? Catch up with our on-demand service UK TV Play. Next, classic Holby City.
Isn't it, Joe?
Yeah, that's him, all right. Hey! Me? Yeah, you. Come here.
What for?
Right. Name, address and date of birth, please.
Surely, Sergeant, that's my business, not yours.
Hello? Yes, I'm Inspector Longton, Kate Longton. How can I help you, Mrs...
Stubbs. Mrs. Jennifer Stubbs. It may be nothing at all, Inspector, but I thought I'd best ring. My daughter says her teacher, Mr. Blake, is having sexual relations with one of the other girls in her class.
How old is the girl in question?
She's 15, same age as Susan.
I see. Look, I'd like to have a chat with her. Is she there this morning?
Yes, but she's gone back up to her room. She was out rather late at the disco last night, having a little rest now. I'm sure she'd love to talk to you, Inspector. It was her who suggested I phone you in the first place.
Really? I see. Would you give me your address, Mrs. Stubbs? I'll be with you in about 10 minutes, if that's all right with you.
Very good, Inspector. Look forward to seeing you then. Oh, yes, there is. The number is Hartley 41415. Bye, Inspector.
Are they coming, Mum?
Yes, dear. A woman inspector. Will you get dressed? She'll be here in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Blake. Just thought you'd like to know. I'm setting the police on you. They'll be in touch shortly. I'm letting them know about you and Carol Harding. About what you've both been getting up to.
Susan? Is that you again, Susan? Enough is enough.
He's not a George yet. Not like him to be late.
He gave me a hand collaring a chap in the high street, ran off from the jeweller's when he saw me coming.
Jewellers?
Yeah, turned out he hadn't even been in there. Wouldn't give his name a tip out his pocket, so we brought him back here for a chat. Got a feeling we might have a bit of a prankster on our hands, man.
Really?
Yeah, there's something about his attitude that smacks of tomfoolery.
Make you take him?
Looks like it.
Well, if that turns out to be the case, hang on to him till I get back. I'd like a chat with him myself.
Will you be long, Mum?
Well, got a busy morning ahead of me. Oh, did you manage to slot the new arrival into Monday's duties?
Yeah, I thought...
Morning, Mum.
Morning, Brian.
I thought I'd put her on with Brian. Might put a bit of a sparkle back into his step.
Good idea. Has he said anything?
Not a word. He obviously weighs heavy.
Keep an eye on him. Let me know when a chat's on the cards.
Right, Mum.
The next step is to the cells. Where we try and find out who you are. Is that what you really want? A weekend in the nick?
Satisfied?
We still haven't got the name.
Check for yourself.
Pilchard? Geoffrey Pilchard?
The very same.
Well, why didn't you tell us in the first place?
Would you?
The inspector in.
As far as I know, she is, sir.
Is the inspector interviewing at the moment, George?
No, sir. Joe's in there, chatting to a suspect.
Well, where is she?
Well, she's not in the locker room, sir.
Look, I've got better things to do than stand here on a Saturday morning playing a game of Hunt the Inspector. Will somebody kindly tell me where she is?
The loo, perhaps?
She's at this address, sir. A schoolgirl complaining of sexual abuse.
Just tell CID.
Well, she did make a couple of phone calls, sir, but I'm not sure there were two.
I'll wait in her office till she gets back.
Well. Who's a picture of sweetness and light this morning?
Come down, Susan. The inspector's here.
Coming.
Would you like to sit down, Inspector?
Thank you.
Tea?
Not for the moment, thank you. Is your husband at home, Mrs. Stubbs?
No, I'm afraid he died 2 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Road accident. Susan was with him at the time, but luckily she came out of it totally unscathed. Oh, here she is now.
Hello, Inspector. Sorry to cause such a fuss, but thought best get it out in the open.
There's nothing you can charge me with.
Oh, isn't there now?
I haven't done a thing.
Yes, you have. You've made me run, and that's not on. And I want to know exactly what it was all about.
Do you always wear school uniform on a Saturday, Susan?
Sometimes.
Oh, come on, Susan. I've never seen you wear it before.
Mother, don't embarrass me in front of the inspector.
Sorry.
I just thought I should wear some other than jeans for a change.
I believe you want to tell me something about one of your teachers, Susan.
Yes, and about Carol Harding.
Carol Harding?
A girl in my class. Her and Mr. Blake, our form teacher. They're lovers.
What exactly do you mean by lovers, Susan?
What do you think I mean? They make love.
Have you seen them making love?
Of course not. But everybody in our class knows about it. They're the talk of the school.
DCI Perrin here. Let me speak to Walter. Walter, you stupid...
You do realise what a serious allegation it is you're making, Susan. It's an offence that's punishable by imprisonment, having sexual relations with a girl who's underage.
I'm only saying what I know is true. What everyone in the school knows.
How?
How?
How do you know it's true?
He's forever putting his arm around her shoulder in class. Getting her to stay behind late to help tidy things away. You know, stuff like that.
Well, surely lots of teachers put their arms around the pupil's shoulders, Susan.
It's the way he does it, though. As if she was special.
How about you?
Me?
Does he ever put his arm around your shoulder?
Just let him try it. I'd be into the headmaster's as quick as a flash.
I wondered about that. Why didn't you go to the headmaster with this complaint in the first place instead of getting your mum to call the police?
Her and Mr. Wilkinson don't exactly hit it off.
Why? Why don't you hit it off, Susan?
He's forever picking on me about my timekeeping and my work. You know, stuff like that.
Does your form teacher also pick on you?
A bit. Not as much as Wilkinson, though.
Is Carol a friend of yours?
She used to be. Till she started going out regular with him. Now I think he's warned her to keep away from me. Probably thinks I'm a bad influence or something.
Do you think you are?
What sort of a question is that, Inspector? It's this teacher you should be checking up on, not Susan.
Mrs. Stubbs, when anybody makes an accusation against a third person that could lead to prison, I make very careful inquiries indeed before deciding whether to even talk to him or not.
She hasn't rung in. Come in. I see. Right, that's all.
Just about to get a brew organised, sir. Wonder if you'd like one while you wait.
No, thank you. Joe, who have you got in the interview room?
Geoffrey Pilchard. Ran off behaving suspiciously from a jeweller's in the High Street. Me and George Parrish brought him in.
On what grounds?
Wouldn't give a name or allow a search.
You called him Geoffrey Pilchard?
Oh, aye. As soon as he got within sniffing distance of the cells, he emptied his pockets and provided identification.
Checked out?
Yes, sir.
Any previous?
Clean as a whistle.
Then what's he still doing on the premises?
Obviously a bit of a prankster, sir. The inspector wants to talk to him when she gets back.
What about?
Well, I wouldn't know. Possibly about wasting our time?
Yes. Well, one could find a few words to say on that subject to the inspector. Right, turf him out.
Beg your pardon?
Tell him he's free to leave. We have no right to keep him. We can't hang on to people to whim to teach them lessons about not wasting our time. No buts, Joe. If we're not going to charge him, and he's guilty of nothing but looking guilty, then he's free to leave.
So what do you think of Mr. Blake, Susan?
It's all right, I suppose.
Can you describe him for me?
Well, he's sort of nice, really. He's got lovely dark eyes. And he smiles a lot, too. Particularly at Carol Harding.
What about the other girls?
What do you mean?
Does he smile at them as well?
Well, he doesn't get up to anything with them, if that's what you mean. He saves it all up for her.
Susan! It's not what I meant. I meant, how does he behave towards the other girls in class?
Well, he's just nice to all of us, really. I mean, if it wasn't for her, he'd be terrific. Really terrific.
Do you think you might have a crush on him, Susan?
No way. He's old enough to be my father.
Would you mind waiting outside for a little while, Susan?
It's written all over your face, Inspector. And I think you're probably right.
So, what do you see there, Mrs. Stubbs?
Well, Carol was Susan's best friend. They fell out over something Lord knows what. And now Carol's ended up as teacher's pet rather than Susan.
Susan was teacher's pet?
Not quite the right word for it. He was just very supportive when Susan's father died. He used to give her lifts home occasionally. Now, she obviously feels her nose has been pushed out of joint by Carol.
No, thanks.
It isn't easy bringing up a teenage daughter at the best of times, Inspector. But add to that losing someone we loved. I think you should just drop this whole matter. I'm sorry I called you.
I'm afraid it's not as easy as that, Mrs. Stubbs. Once this sort of thing is outside the school gates, we've got to check it thoroughly.
Can I help you, sir? Yes, I hope so. My name's Michael Blake. I'm a teacher at Ridgefield Comprehensive.
I thought I recognised you. I've got two sons there.
Parent-teacher meetings, of course, yes.
Can't make them as often as I should, I'm afraid. So, what can we do for you?
I'd like to see the inspector, if I may.
Oh, she's not in at the moment, I'm afraid. Is it something I could help you with?
Well, not really, no. I think I should see a senior officer about this.
I'll be looking further into this matter, Susan, and most likely be back to talk with you again. Oh, yes, one other thing. When Mr. Blake gave you these lifts home...
Nothing ever happened, if that's what you're going to ask. I was always too busy crying. But what about Carol Harding's lifts? She's not crying. Laughing more like.
Susan.
At least 2 nights a week. Right to the corner of her street. Even though he still lives on the other side of town.
But you say nothing happened when he gave you a lift home. Why should anything happen with Carol?
Because with me, he didn't stop off in Longshore Lane. And pull off the road into the trees every time.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I am. We've seen them from the school buses we've gone past often. Why do you think all the girls are talking?
Do you have a telephone number for the Harding family?
Yes, it's in my book.
Could I make a couple of calls?
Of course.
Bit weird, coming to the station rather than sorting it out at school.
That's what I thought, sir.
The inspector goes and sees a girl, Susan Stubbs. And now we've got the girls' teacher outside saying she's also phoned him up. But he comes to us rather than keeping it in the system. Why? Covering his back, perhaps?
Possibility. Hard to say without a chat.
So I'll get that address and phone number for about 5 minutes' time, Danny.
Very good, Mum. Oh, by the way, Mr. Perrin's here. He was asking after you now.
OK. Put me through to him, would you, Danny?
He's on the line at the moment, Mum. Shall I go in?
No, that's all right, Danny. I'll talk to him when I get back.
Very good, Mum.
Right, George. Will you ask Mr. Blake to wait in the interview room?
Very good, sir.
I think you're right. Little chap might well be in order.
Will you come through, please, Mr. Blake? The Chief Inspector will be along in a minute. Splendid. Thank you, Sergeant.
Oh, sorry. Miles away. Can I help you, miss?
WPC Sheila Saunders. An attachment from Monday. I thought I'd pop in, say hello, find out what my duties are. Hello.
Oh, hello. I'm Danny Sparks.
Any word from the inspector yet?
Yes, sir. She's gone in to interview a second girl.
Another one? Well, she told I was here.
She asked to speak to you, sir, but your line was engaged.
Has nobody got feet in this station?
She said she'd speak to you when she got back, sir. DCI. Don't worry. He's not known for his placid temperament.
Here we go.
Oh, Sarge. WPC Sheila Saunders joins us Monday. Sergeant Parish.
How do you do, Saunders? Pleased to meet you.
Sheila, I hope.
Ah, well, give it time. We'll probably get there finally. Right, I imagine a cup of tea would be in order to celebrate your arrival. Would you organise that, Danny?
Certainly, Sarge. That's come through, Sheila. Do you want one, Sarge?
Oh, thanks, Danny.
It's very good of you to see me at such short notice, Mrs. Harding.
Always ready to help the police when possible, Inspector.
Your daughter's at home, is she?
Yes, she is. But first of all, I'd like to know what you're doing here, Inspector.
Doing here?
Yes. I mean, if a girl from school is causing problems at home, surely the first person you inform is the headmaster, rather than the police.
Ah, he was informed.
I see. So he suggested you call out?
No. In fact, he said he'd rather I didn't involve you.
But you still did?
Oh, yeah. I've got to put a stop to this mischievousness once and for all.
There's been a suggestion from a girl in Carol's class that a teacher at Ridgefield may be over-familiar with another girl. Naturally, without checking, we have no way of knowing if it's true.
Is Carol the girl in question, Inspector?
What makes you think that, Mrs. Harding?
Well, you came here at very short notice. It seems a fair assumption that Carol is involved somehow.
Well, I do have other girls to visit, and I was quite close.
Oh.
Is there anything in her manner that gives you the impression that she's involved in something?
No. Quite the opposite, in fact. She's never been so happy at school as she has this last year.
Did you ever wonder why?
Brian! But you're supposed to be at work.
I was parked outside. I saw him come in. Well, where is he?
Upstairs. I was just making him a cup of tea. Do you want one?
But why you? Why should she pick on you? Surely you must have some idea.
Yes. Her father died a couple of years back. All the teachers were very kind to her, help her over her grief. Perhaps me more than most.
Why?
Because I am a form teacher, Mr. Payne. I will be for the whole of her stay at Ridgefield. I tried to be supportive. The trouble was, it became obvious that she was getting too attached. Perhaps even started seeing me as a substitute father. I don't know. She started saying, would I give her a lift home of an evening, that sort of thing. And she was a very mature young girl, even then. I let her know it wasn't on.
Why should she presume that you'd give her lifts home? You do live on the opposite side of town to where she lives.
Yeah, in the early days of his death, she had quite naturally cried a lot. On a couple of occasions when she broke down in my class, I had given her a lift home.
And do you give any other girls lifts home, now that the car is free of Miss Stubbs?
I'm not sure I like your tone, Mr. Perry.
May get worse, Mr. Blake. Depending on the answer you give me to the question you've just sidestepped. Do you give any other girls lifts home?
Yes. Carol Harding.
By bus?
Always.
Yes, as far as I know. Why?
I think I should be allowed to talk to your daughter now, Mrs. Harding.
I'll fetch her. Just one thing, Inspector.
Yes?
Is the teacher in question Mr. Blake?
I'm afraid I'm not at liberty to tell you. Why do you think he might be?
Oh, just he's her form teacher, that's all.
Are you sure that's all, Mrs. Harding?
Yes, quite sure, Inspector. I'll get Carol.
Does the headmaster know you give this girl regular lifts home?
Oh, I've certainly kept it no secret.
That doesn't answer the question.
I don't know whether he knows or not.
If he did know, would he have pointed out to you the foolishness of getting too attached to one child?
I wasn't too attached.
What other girls did you give lifts home to, apart from her and Susan Stubbs?
None.
To the opposite side of town to where you live?
Yes, that's right.
And still you say you aren't too attached to her?
Look, Mr. Payne,
I'll give you time to think about your answer, Mr. Blake. It's fairly obvious you need time to think. I want to talk to the inspector. Let me have that number. Thanks, Tim.
Would a cup of tea be in order for Mr. Blake, sir?
Yes, why not? Give him something warm to clutch on while he's pondering. I'm not too happy with this one, George.
He said he's coming down. Wants to talk to both of us.
I think, being honest, love, there's nothing much left to talk about. See, I knew when Jeff arrived in person rather than phoning what it would mean.
Be nice to be off tea making for a bit, mind?
What's that supposed to mean?
Oh, a new boy's prerogative to organise a tea. Me having been a new boy for a long time now.
Now I'm the tea boy.
Yeah, something like that.
Hey, cup of tea with 2 sugars in the interview room, please.
Right, sir. See what I mean? It's all go when you're in charge of making a tea.
And you've not heard any of the girls complain about any of the teachers?
None.
I want to talk to you about all the male teachers generally, but as you probably know him best, perhaps we could start with your form teacher, Mr. Blake.
Michael's all right. Bit too easy.
Michael?
That's his name. All the girls call him that behind his back. Not to his face, mind. He'd freak. He's lovely.
Would you say he had a favourite in the class?
Well, being honest, I suppose I'm his favourite at the moment. But that'll change in time.
Why are you his favourite?
Bit of a cheat, really. He's quite dishy. And I reckon the way to his heart is by education. I found out he could read Greek, so I started to learn it in my spare time, so he could help me out.
Is that why you started learning it? All your other work and Greek as well, I thought you were going potty.
What about the other girls? How did he get on with them?
Great. Except for Susan Stubbs, of course. She really hates him. Well, she used to really fancy him, but she frightened him off.
Carol, that's no way to speak about a friend.
She's no friend of mine. She's going to end up in jail. Only yesterday, she said she'd got this great guy she was meeting in a wine bar. 24, would you believe? And would I cover for her if her mum rang here checking up?
Why should her mum ring here?
Because she was going to tell her mum that she was here. And if she phoned up, I was supposed to say she'd popped out to the shops or something.
Excuse me.
Yes, it's Hartley Police. Is the inspector still with you? Oh, good. Can I have a word, please?
It's for you, Inspector. Hartley Police.
Do you have another phone I could use?
No, afraid not. It's only the one.
Thanks. Yes?
I have a teacher, a Mr. Blake, in the interview room. You'll be pleased to hear I think he's about to reveal all.
No, I won't be pleased. What are you doing involved?
This morning's spat is over. I'm sorry I said those things about your mysterious boyfriend of last night. Now let's get back to being police officers and being civil to one another.
I've never stopped. Look, I can't talk here. I'll be on my way back in 5 minutes. We can discuss it then.
Okay. Look forward to that. By the time you get back, I'm pretty sure I'll have everything out in the open for you.
No, leave it alone, please. You don't know the whole story.
Don't I now? Just you ask the little girl who he takes for rides in his car.
I have every intention of doing just that. Now, if you'll excuse me, sir, I must get on.
Yes.
The bloke in the interview room, sir, says he's ready to go if you finish with him.
Not by a long shot, Danny. Not by a long shot. Perhaps you'd be good enough to inform Mr. Blake that if he insists on leaving, we'll have to consider arresting him.
For what, sir?
Just pass on the information, see how he reacts. If he doesn't head for the front door, I'll be in a couple of minutes.
Right, sir.
Yes. Stay with him.
Yes, sir.
I'll probably be talking to you again, but I think that about covers everything for the moment. Oh, yes, there is one thing. How do you get home from school?
On the bus.
Always?
Unless Michael's dropping me off, that is.
It gives you a lift?
Occasionally, once or twice a week. Practice verbs on the way.
You never told me.
Didn't think it worth mentioning.
He drives you straight home?
Sometimes stop and check things in the book, but that apart, yes.
Does he live this side of town, Carol?
No, the other side, Padley Way. But his mother lives just a couple of streets away. And it's when he's visiting her that he drops me off.
His mother's dead.
What?
Do you know him, Mrs. Harding? Michael Blake?
Only parent-teachers, that sort of thing. But I did know his mother. Used to have tea with her. And I attended her funeral just over 5 years ago, Inspector.
But why would he lie to me?
I'm sorry I can't offer you anything else except my deepest sorrow. They sent the report direct to me, Brian, as requested. I got it yesterday, as a matter of fact. But I decided rather than to tell you straight away, I'd go into the surgery this morning, early while it was quiet, and bring round some of my colleagues. See if they knew of any new treatment that was available anywhere in the world. I explained it was for mate. There's nothing. Lots of research, but nothing that can offer any hope for your Linda.
How long has she got, Jeff?
Well, it's no more than 6 months, I'm afraid.
I just don't understand.
One more question, Carol. How friendly is he?
Friendly?
Well, is he the sort of teacher who's not afraid to show his affections? Does he put his arm round your shoulder, things like that?
Carol, what the inspector's trying to say...
Mrs. Harding, I don't think there's any...
Have you had sexual relations with Mr.
What?
Blake? Have you had sexual relations with Mr. Blake?
No, with no one. I'm too young.
Well, has he ever touched you improperly?
He wouldn't, Mum. He's too nice.
Good. Now you take no more lips from him for his own sake.
Mum.
None. Will you go into the kitchen, Carol? I'd like to speak to the inspector alone.
You know, it's funny. Your face is really familiar. And I can't for the life of me place where I've seen you.
It's when you were coming out of the wine bar last night.
Oh, yeah, that's it. You passed some comment to my new lady. She got all snooty. She wouldn't tell me what you said, mind. You're not some ex-boyfriend of hers or something, are you?
That really is very funny in the circumstance. No, she is not my girlfriend, although I must admit she did look old enough last night. She is my pupil. And what I said to her was that she'd have to watch out that the police didn't catch her drinking underage in that wine bar. Susan Stubbs has just turned 15, Constable.
All I've got to say, Inspector, is leave it alone.
I think you know more about this than you're saying.
Well, be that as it may. What I am saying is don't involve Carol. Look, Inspector, my husband is a very nice man in the normal course of events. But he's very possessive when it comes to his only child. Now, if he ever discovered what we've been discussing here today, he might wrongly take matters into his own hands.
Is there anything else you want to tell me?
No. Only that it's a stupidity. Michael Blake is not a child molester, and certainly not a molester of Carol.
Don't look so worried. I have no intention of shouting about it here. But if I were you, I'd leave her alone. She's jailbait, lad. And bitter with it. It's because of her I'm sitting here at this very moment. I am an innocent man who is beginning to think he might just be found guilty.
Right. You leave me and Mr. Blake to talk by ourselves.
Yes, sir. Sir?
Yes?
Nothing, sir. What a flaming mess.
Well, Mr. Blake, little girls, lives in cars. What's the final story?
I thought I'd take a walk round town, Sarge. Come back a bit later.
Right, see you then. I'll let the inspector know you'll be back. Aha! The Wanderer returns.
Aye, he does that.
That was our new WPC.
What, that little girl who just went out?
My reaction exactly. I'll be amazed if she lasts 6 months. Are you all right, Brian?
Well, no, being honest, Sarge, I'm not feeling too hot at the minute. Do you mind if I go and have a sit in the locker room for a while?
No, of course not. Are you sure you wouldn't like to take some time off? Nothing much going on, it would seem.
No, it's okay. I'll just go and have a bit of a sit and a think. Till I feel better, you know.
Brian, it can sometimes help to get things off your chest, talk things through, like. I mean, if there's anything you want to chat about unofficial.
No. Thanks all the same, but no thanks. What do you think, Joe? Should I go in and try to get to the bottom of it?
No, I don't think so. Get the impression it's private rather than public. When the moment's right, I reckon we'll hear.
That's not good enough. Presumably there are guidelines laid down about what is and what is not allowed. You've broken them.
Yes, but...
So I'll ask you once again. Why did you persist in giving this girl lifts home against all the rules?
She's a very nice girl. And I was helping her with her Greek. It's not on the curriculum, Mr. Perrin.
And what were you hoping your reward was going to be?
None.
Are you quite sure about that, Mr. Blake? Are you quite sure?
Got to go out, Carol. Shan't be long.
Did you say something, Danny?
No, I didn't mean to. You won't believe what's happened. I've dropped myself right in it.
How come?
A little schoolgirl's only gone and dressed herself up to look like a 20-year-old. I've been taking her out. Her teacher's in the interview room with Mr. Perrin. He saw me with her.
Because I saw her coming out of a wine bar with some young chap, her breath reeking. And she knew very well that I would report her to the headmaster on Monday morning for drinking underage. She probably started this whole thing out of spite.
Can you prove she was drinking in a wine bar underage?
Ask her.
Presume she says it's not true. Can you prove it?
Ask at the wine bar. They're bound to confirm it, aren't they?
They'll say no if she was underage. So could you prove it, Mr. Blake?
No. No, I can't.
Is Mr. Perrin still here?
Yes, Mum. He's in the interview room with Mr. Blake, teacher from Ridgefield.
Well, where have they got Pilchard waiting for me?
He's gone, ma'am.
He's what?
Released.
Oh.
On Mr. Perrin's orders.
What a little slag, eh, to do a rotten thing like that. I mean, to a copper of all people. Oh, it's all right for you, Bri. You've got young Linda. I mean, you probably know how easy it is for kids to make themselves look older just by slapping a bit of makeup on. I mean, you understand that sort of thing, but how am I going to...
No, I don't understand! I don't understand you, super stud! Kids are not paper handkerchiefs to be used and then chucked away by the likes of you. Kids are precious. Do you get me? Precious! And if I hear my daughter's name mentioned by that dirty little mouth of yours again, Sparks, I personally will divorce your head from your shoulders.
You've been warned.
What's all this shouting about the pair of you? What's going on?
Nothing, Mum.
Come on. What's going on, Danny?
It was me, Mum. I was telling Brian about a bit of trouble I'm in, Mum, and he sort of overreacted.
And the trouble?
The teacher in the interview room, Mum, with Mr. Perrin. He saw me coming out of a wine bar with one of his pupils. I thought the girl was about 20, Mum. It turns out she's 15.
Her name?
Susan Stubbs, Mum.
Did you tell Mr. Perrin?
No, I thought it best to wait till you got back, Mum.
Did anything happen between you and the girl, Danny?
Happened, Mum?
Stop playing the yokel. I haven't the time. Did anything sexual happen between you?
No, Mum, nothing.
Are you sure?
Yes, Mum.
When will you ever learn? If you don't grow up, Danny, you're going to find yourself back on the other side of the counter, and that's a warning. Right, I'm going to put a stop to this now.
Yes. I will tell you what I think. I think you've got a thing about little girls.
That's not true.
You've probably held yourself in check so far. If you have held yourself in check, it's more by luck than anything else.
It's just not true.
I think you've got a big problem and that you need to get some treatment.
Could I have a word, Mr. Perrin?
Yes. I'll be back. The hell are you playing at? He was about to cough. Telling me he saw her coming out of a wine bar.
She was in the wine bar. I've just had it confirmed. Also, she's got a grudge against Carol Harding because she wouldn't cover for her while she went to the wine bar. Plus, Carol is teacher's pet, which has really put Susan Stubbs' nose out of joint. I just don't understand you. You have a body release that I want to talk to, and now you're holding someone who chances are I wouldn't even got round to interviewing in the first place.
So that's what this is all about. Bit miffed because I let your man go before you had time to teach him a lesson.
No, it is not what it's all about. It's about you interfering in the case that I have in hand without prior consultation to ensure we don't get our wires crossed.
I didn't ask him to come here, he just turned up on the doorstep.
That makes no odds. You could have asked him to wait till I got back, but no, you dived straight in the deep end.
I was just testing the waters.
Oh, no, you weren't. You were out to make a splash. You were angry with me and determined to beat me to it to teach me a lesson.
Now, what's that supposed to mean?
It means that if you ring me up, as you did, at work at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, to cross-question me about who I was with the night before, you're not exactly behaving rationally.
Yes, madam. Can I help you?
My name's Mrs. Harding. The inspector came to see me this morning. I'd like to speak to her, please.
Could you have a seat for a minute, please? I'll see if she's free.
Thank you.
Casting aside your unfounded aspersions as to my motive, why did he take the little girl home nights and lie about his mother still being alive?
That's the only thing that still bothers me. Yes? Has she now? Thank you, George. I'll come through and have a chat. Maybe our answers just walked through the front door. Carol Harding's mother is outside.
Like me to come with you? Hold your hand. Show everyone we're still friends.
Hello, Mrs. Harding.
I rang Michael Blake's home, and his wife said he'd gone to the police station and he hadn't come back. Is he being held here?
He's not being held, no, but he is here.
Well, could I speak to him privately?
I'm afraid not.
Look, I would like to get this business cleared up once and for all.
Well, perhaps you could tell me what it is.
No, it is private.
Oh.
Well, I'd have to check with Michael first.
The only way I could let you speak to him is if I'm present.
I haven't got much choice.
This way.
Kathy. What on earth are you doing here?
Hello, Michael.
Thank you, Arthur.
After all this time, why did you want to do anything so foolish, Michael?
It's irresistible, finally. She is a lovely girl, Kathy. And when she ended up in my class, my affection just grew out of all proportion. It was being close to her so much of the time that did it.
I suppose it would.
You know, it turned out that Jenny, my wife, she can't have children.
Wicked sense of humour the fates have.
Yes.
The inspector will have to be told, of course.
Don't you mind?
Well, being realistic, what other choice have we got?
Sorry about that, Danny.
It's all right, right?
Wrong time to mention young girls, that's all.
Is it your Linda prize?
Rather not talk about it. But I am sorry.
Life's a bit weird, isn't it, Bri? I have a date who looks 20 and turns out to be 15, and we have a WPC who must be about 20 and looks 15. I don't know where I am anymore. It's confusing.
Life always is, Danny. It always is.
She gone?
Yes?
Good. Well, I'll get back to Mr. Blake, then we can compare notes.
He's gone as well.
Interesting.
No. Sorry tale to tell.
Do I get to hear the tale finally?
It's about a woman desperate for children. A short-lived affair with the son of an old friend of hers provided the baby she'd found her husband couldn't give her.
Good God. Michael Blake is Carol Harding's true father?
She doesn't know. Never will. He came to Ridgefield, became her form teacher, and the affection grew apace. Now common sense prevails. No more lifts, and hopefully no more talk.
Good, right. Well, that's that one out of the way. I look forward to seeing the report.
Is that really all you've got to say?
Yes. Putting aside any philosophical discussion, really, the moralities of the case, we're quits.
Quits?
I let your man go, you let my man go. Let's forgive and forget, shall we?
Hello? Really? Thank you, George. I look forward to having a chat with him. Not quite quits. Brian and Danny have just picked up our Mr. Pilchard again.
Running away suspiciously?
You've got it in one. From the arcade, stuffing an empty brown bag up his jumper.
Well, it'd be fascinating to find out what he's at, finally. And I'm sure we shall, finally.
Of course we shall. That's what teamwork's all about, sir.
Now, that's the attitude that will get you your promotion, Kate.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sunhill are on the beat. In the bill.
Sure, be a sec.
It's about 5 minutes then, is it?
And the name, sir. No, it's not the dog.
Hiya.
It's yours, sir. Yes. Yeah, fine. We've got that. Yes, we will. Anything at all, we'll let you know.
Brian? What exactly have I said to upset you?
Upset me? You've said nothing to upset me, love.
Well, what is it?
What's what?
Well, letting the door shut in my face is the least of it. We've been driving around for over half the morning. You've hardly said 2 words.
Sorry. Look, I'm not exactly renowned as the greatest conversationalist in the world. Well, I've got things on my mind at the moment.
Well, share it. I'm like a clown when it comes to secrets.
Well, thanks for the offer, but no thanks. It's private. Look, let's have that cup of tea, and I'll try not to let any more doors slam in your face.
others.
We'll be along.
Good day, Inspector. Nice to see you again.
Well, well, well. Mr. Pilchard. How unusual to see you standing still for a change.
My running days are over, Inspector. I shan't be wasting any more of your time with that silliness.
So, now you've surfaced. What was it all about?
Just a phase, Inspector. Just a phase. Won't happen again.
Hartley Police, can I help you? I see, sitting on your front wall, are they? And what else are they doing? Nothing. Well, madam, have you thought of asking them politely to move on?
Well?
Did you see who I met just then?
No, can't say I did. Wrapped in Wagner.
It was Pilchard.
Pilchard?
Remember the runner who haunted the station for weeks? Geoffrey Pilchard.
The nut who runs off guilty every time he sees a uniform?
The very same. Pulled in at least once by every PC on the strength, not to mention the sergeants.
Well, what about him?
He stopped.
Stopped?
Stopped running. He picked up something I'd dropped, chatted to me amiably for a while, and then walked on.
Great.
Is it?
Well, saves a lot of station time.
I think we're being conned.
How come?
I think he's setting up a jangle ahead of whatever his little game is. And now he's gone sensible. With every bobby on the beat relieved beyond measure not to be chasing after him, he's getting away with it.
It being?
No idea. But he's gone to a lot of trouble to ensure he doesn't get picked up again, so it's got to be lucrative.
Well, next time he chats friendly, haul him in and hang on to him till he confesses all.
It was you who had him released in the first place.
Ah, no, that was different. He was pretending to be bad while being good. Now he's pretending to be good. He's probably being bad.
Right, let's start. This end, both sides of the street. If you need tools, I've got them.
No, I'll start at the other end of the street. We'll get done twice as quick if we come at it from both directions.
Well, suit yourself. Right, let's go.
Morning, Joe.
Morning, ma'am.
Much in?
Yes, had a chap ring up to report a lost dog. What name is it, sir? Says I, Rover, says he. Woman rang up from Enton Street, said she had a couple of youths sitting on the front wall, said they didn't look very savoury.
Huh? Expecting a van load of blue round to duff them up, was she?
Yeah, something like that.
Can't help feeling, Joe, that kids who complain of adults' attitudes might just have a small point.
What do you think you're playing at? Banging on my door like that?
We're just seeing if anyone in the street wants any odd jobs doing. You know, me and my mates like.
Who can afford to have odd jobs done? Place could be falling to bits around my ears and I still can't afford to have it done.
We'll do out. We'll fix sink plugs, dig gardens.
Dig gardens?
Oh, really? We just want to earn a few bob like.
Don't I look well enough to look after my own garden?
Yeah, but, well, perhaps there's some old ladies in the street that could use a bit of help.
Old ladies? We've all heard about your sort.
Well, who needs you, you old git?
Well, money's not everything. I mean, if there's out you'd like me to look at for free...
Yep. Very good, Mrs. Smithers. I'll send someone round to chat to them. No, you were quite right to ring in. No, you can't tell these days. Bye.
Yes, right, we'll look into it. Bye-bye.
Better get someone round to Enton Street, Joe. Kids knocking on doors asking if any old ladies want odd jobs doing.
Same street, Mum. Woman told the boy to push off, but lads are still trying other houses in the street.
Until we check it out, cancel what I just said about youth being misunderstood.
All right, Mum?
What do the rest of you think? Try another street?
Oh, you've had some stupid ideas in your time, Barney Preston. This one really takes the biscuit.
It wasn't his idea, it was mine.
Oh, thanks for telling me. The lass comes up with an idea you expected to go down the pan before you started. Whoa!
Police!
Oh, you've done nothing! That's breaking equipment, perhaps.
Could be.
What? I'm arresting you on suspicion of going equipped for a burglary.
Tell you, it's me dad's tool bag, no tells.
So, what's it doing in Enton Street with you instead of in your dad's tool cupboard?
We were trying to get some odd jobs, get a bit of money together.
What for?
We're going on a march.
Come again?
A march for jobs. There's one setting out from Manchester next week. All the out-of-work youths of the city. Well, we're going to set off first and join up with them on the way to London.
I've heard some good off-the-cuff stories in my time, but that one really takes the biscuit.
I'll give you 5 each for the credit cards, plus a quid for the banker's card.
A quid?
Yes. Fairly useless without the checkbook. My clients are very fussy. Take it or leave it.
OK.
Next time, make sure you get the checkbook as well. Worth 10 quid. So, how do you want it? Cash or kind?
Same as last time?
Yeah.
OK, I'll have half.
So, tell me more about this march that's being organised. I may have a little proposition to make to you.
We could be thousands strong finally. All the youth of the country descending on Downing Street. Yeah, she'll have to take some notice then.
So, to get the money to get underway, how many more burglaries do you think you'll have to do?
There's been no burglaries.
All right.
Look, how can I get it through to you? We were being totally straight, just looking for odd jobs, cash in hand. Look, we're sick of being on the dole. I mean, we might as well be dead. Same as any kid of yours might as well be dead and all.
Brian. A word, please, Brian.
I could get the gear to you regularly en route. Small packets, £10 each. You pick and choose who you approach with it, with clean up.
What's in it for me?
£2 a packet.
3.
2.
Where do they get the money from?
Same place as you get yours from, probably. Anyway, what parents are going to send their kids marching off to London town without some extra loot in their pocket? So what do you say?
I'll think about it.
No. You're in or you're out. The choice is yours. But now.
Yes, miss, can I help you?
Yeah, I think you've got a friend of mine in here, Barney Preston.
Really? Friend of yours, is he?
Yeah, I was with him in Enton Street.
Arthur?
We weren't doing out wrong. Well, I had a bit of a scuffle, nothing serious. But I saw the police take him away.
Take this young lady through to the interview room, will you? Oh, Sarge.
But I haven't done anything.
You ran away, miss. Innocent people don't run away now, do they?
No panic. I've got them all tamed.
Tamed?
Yep. All that running away from them I did. They've nicked me so often for nout that they're heading for me, charging them with harassment. And they know it. So they'll leave me alone.
Yes, Constable, can I help you?
I'll be with you in a moment. Good day, Mr. Pilchard.
Good day, Constable. Nice to see you. Going to arrest me again, are you?
No. Hate to pick on a sitting target. I'll wait till you're running again.
The running days are over.
It's good to hear. And who might this be?
There's going to be a youth march for jobs, Constable. Have you heard? My young friend's been telling me all about it.
And, he's going to march.
Yeah, me and my mates to London.
It's going to cost a few bob in shoe leather.
We'll have money.
Oh, yeah? And how are you going to get that, then?
We're saving our dough.
We honestly weren't doing anything wrong, Inspector, just looking for odd jobs.
One of you was doing something very wrong. Burgling number 60?
You're joking. We weren't even down that end.
OK. So somebody was. Who?
Well, I don't know. Could have been anybody. There's about 15 of us altogether.
Their names?
I don't know the names.
Now, for the first time, I know you're lying. You're covering up for somebody, and I want to know who it is.
Have a word, Mum.
Certainly. You better get your memory going before I get back, otherwise you're in big trouble. Yes?
Brian's called in to confirm they are the father's tools.
I see.
And we've got a young girl in, Vicky Towers. She says she was with Preston in Henton Street.
See if you can find out from her who the others were, particularly those who went to the high numbers in the street.
Right.
Have a word?
No. Leave it.
I'm pretty sure he knows who it is, but he's not saying.
Same with her. I asked her, did anyone go to the far end of the street, and she went puce, prior to saying she didn't know that is.
Any report from the scene as yet?
Oh, yes. The owner didn't spot anything. He says the front door often doesn't latch properly. He's going to get it fixed now.
Typical. Right, Joe. Complete the paperwork and then turf him for the time being.
Very good, mate.
What are we doing here, Brian? Bri, what are we doing here?
Just thinking, Sheila. Just thinking.
Who lives there?
Where?
There, the house you keep looking at.
I do. Me. And my family. I've had enough. You take the car back.
Brian, I'm not supposed to drive.
I didn't do any thievery. Look, I'm just as broke as the rest of you.
Well, somebody did it.
You were the only one up that end of the street, Ken.
Oh, get off my back, both of you. For all you know, that bloke probably robbed whatever was robbed himself for the insurance. It wasn't me.
All right. You get the benefit of the doubt, for now.
Oh, thanks. For nothing.
Look, we've got to keep this as clean as clean. The law's not happy with it as it is. If we don't watch it, we're not even going to make the march to Manchester, never mind London.
Well, why don't we just go then?
Go.
Yeah. 2 days' time, pick up the doll and set off. We've got nothing to hang around for. Let's get on with it.
Well, how about a collection first?
From who?
Shopkeepers, tradesmen.
Well, they wouldn't give us out, would they?
It wouldn't do no harm to ask. Might have better luck than knocking on doors asking for work.
Right. Well, what do you all think?
Yeah.
OK. Tomorrow we'll try it out. I'll get a list worked out of who covers what shop, but nicely, mind. Let's not yob it up. No more trouble with the law.
Oh, do such a thing, Barney.
6235 to Artley.
Go ahead, 6235.
I'd like to speak to Danny Sparks.
Roger.
7740 receiving.
WPC Saunders. I'd like a meet, please.
Receiving, Sheila. What is it?
I don't want to say anything over the radio. Can you meet me at 79 Oakwood Road?
Understood, Sheila. Is Brian with you?
No, not at the moment. I'll tell you about it when you get here. Out.
Artley out.
OK, I'll let you have 8 ounces. 5 bags to the ounce, £10 a bag. That's 400 quid's worth. That works out at £80 for you, if you move it quickly enough.
How are you going to keep me supplied?
I'll catch up with you every couple of days. You won't be doing more than 10 miles a day, I would imagine?
Fair enough. You'll let me have it tomorrow?
Yes. I'll go off gardening this afternoon. It's expensive stock you'll be carrying. You able to handle yourself if it comes to the crunch? Good.
Well, see you, Sarge. Thanks for the lift.
See you, Danny.
What is it, Sheila? You sound a bit panicky on the radio.
Panic is not the word for it. Terrified, more like.
What's up?
Brian, he's jacked it in.
He's what?
He's packed it in. He told me to take the car back to the station. I'm not an approved driver. I didn't know what to do for the best.
I'd better go and have a word with him.
I don't think it'll do any good. I think he's flipped it. Hey up, Sergeant Parrish.
You seem to be mine as a tutor constable. Everything all right, is it?
Not quite, Sergeant.
Right, let's hear it.
Got to break the news sometime, Sheila. You might as well get it over with.
Brian's had a bit of a turn, Sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had a near miss. Young girl cyclist being silly. Seemed to shake him up a lot. Then he drove us here. Sat in the car for ages without saying anything at all. Then he said he was packing it up. That I should take the car back to the station. Went into his house.
He's not been well for some time, Sarge.
It's not going unnoticed, Danny. Right, you take Sheila onto your area. Anyone wants Brian, he's with me.
Right, Sarge.
All right, Sheila. Mind if I come in? You want to tell me about it? Is it you and Janice?
No. Oh, no, we're fine. We've never been closer. She's upstairs with Linda at the moment.
Off school?
Why don't you go up and say hello?
Yeah, I'll do that. Is there anything more they can do for her?
Terminal.
How long?
Doctor said 6 months. The most. So brave. She's been so bloody brave.
Brian, there's facts to be faced. Right, there's Linda and Janice and the boys. No good at all seeing you sitting at home like this, feeling hurt and sorry for yourself for the next 6 months. You got to think what's best for them. And changing the routine isn't. Decision's finally yours. You can apply for compassionate leave. Everybody'd understand. Or you can try to just carry on as normal. But either way, I think we should let the inspector know. Well, you're not going to be up to par with this on your mind. Would you like me to tell her?
I'll tell her myself. But not today. See, I've got to think things through. You know, think about what you said. I'll be in tomorrow. Either in uniform or in civvies, depending.
Fair enough. Yeah, you needn't bother phoning now. I'll pass the message on you've gone sick.
Thanks. Hey, Sarge. Thanks for coming to talk. It has helped.
Okay, right.
Mike takes the shops in Panton Street, then I can do Albrook Close.
Yeah, fine. That'll leave the high street for me and Ken. I'll keep an eye on him.
Do you think he really did the robbery?
Could well have done. Strange bloke.
Do you think they'll cough up?
Shopkeepers? Well, do it right, I don't see why not.
Great. It'll be underway in no time.
Yeah. One thing, Vic.
Yeah?
Well, do you really think girls should be coming on this march as well as blokes?
If that's a joke, then it's in bad taste.
It's not a joke. It's something the inspector said this morning, and I think she might be right. There's a danger we end up being labelled as a march for nookie. Well, I mean, that does us no good at all.
But we know that's not true. So will every person with an out-to-work kid on their hands. Don't worry yourself, Barney. The decision's been made for you. The day after tomorrow, we women are heading for Manchester, en route for London. Whether there's one march, or there has to be two, makes no odds. But you can be sure of one thing. We are going to be there.
There you go.
Cheers.
Cheers. So, there's our Mr. Pilchard, herring off towards Longshore Wood, clutching of all things, a pair of garden shears.
Did you fight the temptation to say it?
Oh, tried. Couldn't resist in the end. Fishy, I see. Not even someone as potty as Pilchard sets out to trim a forest. So I followed him.
You're joking. You'd lose yourself in minutes.
Second, not a sight of him anywhere.
So?
Well, I have this new graduate entry on my hands at the moment, whose Oxford accent you could actually cut with garden shears. Perfect job for him. Little walk in the forest, see if there's anything to be found.
But it's gigantic. He couldn't possibly have searched himself. It'd take weeks.
Friends?
That's the pair we had in today.
Innocent or guilty?
Well, they both tell a good story. Trouble is, they don't give the characters any names.
Well, I'd have kept them till they did.
On what grounds?
I'd have thought of something. Any opportunity to keep the youth off the streets has to be grabbed at.
They're not all bad, you know.
Guilty until proved innocent in my book.
You're hopeless.
You wait till you get this promotion to the Juvenile Bureau. You'll find out soon enough what I'm talking about.
Do you think I will get it?
Chief Inspector? Not a chance. Too soppy by half. Come on, glug it down. We'll miss the main feature. And I want to get you in the dark.
Morning, Sarge.
Morning. Feeling better?
Oh, thanks, Sarge. I'd like a word with the inspector.
Well, she's chatting with Danny at the moment.
Oh.
I'll let you know when he clears.
Right.
Yeah, gave his name and address without any fuss, Mom. And he's got no form at all.
It's him being in the coffee bar with Pilchard that sets the bells ringing.
Yeah.
Ken Ridley. Tell you what, Danny, keep your eye out for him. If you see him again, have another chat with him.
Very good, Mom. Anything else?
No, I think that's it for the moment.
And remember, if they refuse to give out towards the march, well, just take it in your stride.
What do you mean? Kick him in nuts as we walk away, sort of thing? No, I mean trample on the stock and stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, we've had our fun. Now let's get out there and get some money. But no trouble. I don't want to end up in the nick again.
Me neither.
About yesterday.
Yeah, what about yesterday?
I was a bit freaked. I've never been held like that before.
Gives you the excuse to call me a thief for no cause, does it?
Well, if it wasn't you, I'm sorry.
Still if, is it, Barney?
Okay, no ifs. I'm sorry. Let's forget about it, right?
Right.
Ready to take the high street by storm, then?
Sure. Let's do that, Barney. Let's go and do that.
And they said there's nothing more they can do for her. They'd have kept her in quite happily until... But, you know, being honest, we just wanted her at home.
Would you like me to put you on compassionate leave?
Well, not just yet. It's early days. But when the time comes, I'll let you know.
What about Janice? Would it help if I had a chat with her?
Well, maybe, but not just yet. See, it's best we come to terms with this ourselves first. Maybe later it would help.
I can't tell you how upset I am to hear about this.
Aye.
Get stuffed yourself. Who needs your money? Ken!
Yes, I see. Do you know the name of the lad? No.
I see.
OK, don't worry about it. We'll get somebody over there.
Have a chat with them. Keep a call. Now they're holding an impromptu collection day up and down the high street.
One of them decided if you don't pay up, you get a brick through your window. Tommy's baby wear shop.
Right, let's have them.
What a stupid bloody thing to do. The news went up and down the high street in a flash. You blew it in for all of us before we even got started.
It was Lippy. He called us a bunch of scrounging bums. What am I supposed to do? Take it?
Yes, you are. The rest of us had to take some stick as well, but we didn't go smashing up the high street.
That bloke's a mate of me dad. If me dad finds I was involved, I'll be right in it.
You've really fouled it up for all of us. He was asking for his window smashing in.
One thing's for sure. No way do you go with us to London tomorrow. You're a nutter.
Call in a nutter!
Right. I'm going to go round to the station now and tell the inspector the culprit's out of the march. I won't name you, But no way do you go with us tomorrow, right? OK, here's the deal. We meet tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock.
Make it 9. Much more civilised.
8. Give the local photographer a chance to get there.
All right, we'll split the difference. Call it 8:30, OK?
Right, where we meet.
Town Square? Police station?
Hey, Preston.
If I don't go tomorrow, neither do you.
You went in over there. Just have a look round, see what you can come up with.
Somewhat large area for one to cover, sir.
Yes, somewhat. I realise it might present one with some small problem. But it's really not a job one can put a lot of manpower on. For the time being.
And this pilchard was carrying garden shears, you say, sir?
Yes.
Fascinating.
Quite.
Right, well, let's get on, sir. Bye, sir.
Bye-bye, Justin.
That looks like one of them, Sheila.
Let's pick him up.
Oh, no. You get after him and I'll go round the bottom, all right?
Okay.
High Street clear of you, apart from this one, Sarge.
Take it through.
Ah, might have guessed. Leader of the pack returns.
I was coming here under my own steam.
That's why you ran off when we pulled up beside you, was it? I had to run...
No chat out here, Sheila. Take it through to the interview room, will you?
Come on,
Valley Police, can I help you?
No, I think I can help you. I've just seen a bloke called Barney Preston being taken into the station. Well, you might be doing yourselves a favour if you check his pockets.
And what might we find? Hello? Hello?
Interesting?
Anonymous. Check Barney Preston's pockets, he says.
We weren't demanding, we were asking for contributions.
It's against the law to solicit for money without a licence.
Yes, but if you...
No matter how good the cause.
All right, it won't happen again. I came here to apologise.
No, you didn't. You were brought in here after running away from 2 of my officers.
But I was coming here to apologise.
It's easy enough to say that now you're here in any case.
Oh, for God's
It's the second day in a row you've sat in that chair. Yesterday burglary, today thuggery. What's it going to be tomorrow?
Nothing, because tomorrow we're off.
Don't be too sure of that, Mr. Preston.
But look, I wasn't responsible for that window, and that's why I was coming here. And I didn't want to be dragged in by the police, so I ran.
OK. Accepting for now that you were coming in here in any case. For what?
To apologise for the one idiot who acted like a yob, and to ask you not to tar us all with the same brush because of him.
What's his name?
I can't tell you that. But I can tell you we've banned him from coming with us. No way can we stop him from going, but he doesn't go with us.
Come in.
Excuse me, Mum.
Yes, George?
No, wait.
Thank you, George. Would you like to tip your pockets out for me again?
No. Why should I?
What are you carrying that you don't want me to see?
Nothing.
And is that also the reason you ran away from my officers?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Don't you?
I don't believe it. Look, it was planted on me.
It usually is, Mr. Preston. It usually is.
It was!
Do you know what this is?
It looks like grass.
You're in big trouble.
It was planted on me. Look, I told him he was out because of smashing the window in the high street. But he crossed to get his coat, and that's when he must have done it.
Allowing for the moment it was planted on you, why would Ken Ridley do such a thing?
Oh, I don't know. Spite, I guess. Or to stop me going, perhaps. Well, he might have thought I'd be held here and...
So, chances are he won't be able to turn up. Have to answer bail or whatever.
What if he does turn up?
I can walk along behind till he asks me to join in.
Will he?
Yeah. Soft touch. Forgive and forget sort.
What if he blows the whistle on you? Tells them you probably planted it and then rang up?
Thanks, Tom. You do realise if forensic confirm it's drugs, you will be charged.
Even though it was planted?
Oh, we have no way of knowing that. All we have is a runner who turns out to be carrying.
Oh, plus an anonymous phone call.
Well, it might simply have been someone with a grudge who knew you had it on you.
Will I be bailed?
Yep, finally.
And I can still lead the march?
What you do with your time before you have to report back here is of no great interest, provided you keep your nose clean. But are you sure you're the right person to lead this merry little band?
How do you mean?
The press will love it if they get hold of it. Burglary in Enton Street, vandalism in the High Street, and you end up in court on a drugs charge. Some leader you look in the tabloids.
Right, let's have it.
You go careful with it. There's a lot of work gone into this crop, and that bag's worth a chunk of money. Don't go messing about, or you might catch a heavy dose of hurt.
I'm not gonna mess you up. It's good money for me as well. Same stuff as last time.
Exactly.
Looking for a kid called Ken Ridley. Seen him around, have you?
Over there, hiding in the canoodling corner with his fat friend.
Thanks. Hello there. Inspector wants a word about a broken window. I know nothing about no broken window. Tell her that then, can't you? I don't have to come in. Done that wrong.
Why not go in and have a chat, Ken? I'll still be here when you get back.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Don't forget your bag now, will you?
It's not mine.
That's right. It's mine.
Just a minute. Have a look, will you, Sheila?
It's private property.
You won't let me open it, you...
Right! Listen, sunshine, it's a silliness. You won't get away from here.
Often wondered if that really worked.
That's the gist of what she said. And she's right. It's not me who should lead it. Whoever it is has got to be a Mr. Clean with a vengeance.
Well, don't look at me.
Me neither.
Or a Miss Clean, come to that. Otherwise the press will slay us.
It's got to be you, Barney.
Don't worry yourselves. Barney's just given us the answer, and a great bit of publicity at the same time. The perfect headline, in fact. Jobs for the Boys March. To be led by a woman.
Yeah. You will not believe this. That poxy Oxford graduate actually found where Pilchard was going.
That's impossible, even for a poxy graduate.
Well, not for him, it's not. Turns out he was a Boy Scout. Got his Pathfinder's badge, everything. Followed his spoor to the exact spot.
Followed his what?
Spoor. Boy Scout for trail. Bruised leaves, snapped twigs, what have you. And you won't believe what he found at the end of the trail.
I would imagine a clearing covered in plastic sheeting with an abundance of well-matured cannabis plants.
How the...
Danny and Sheila nicked Pilchard in a coffee bar about half an hour ago, along with 8 or 9 ounces of the weed.
Well, I'll be damned. You mean that my Oxford graduate is standing out in the garden waiting for the gardener to return while he's here on the premises?
Afraid so. You can call him up. It'll be years before Pilchard's free to walk in the woods again.
Well, I wouldn't get away with leaving him out there for an entire year. But a few more hours won't hurt.
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
Come in.
Did you get the message from Mr. Perryman?
Oh, yes, thank you, Joe. Did he say what he wanted?
Just that he wanted to catch you before tomorrow. Got the impression it was something personal.
I've tried his office, but he was out. Oh, well, if it's important, he'll find me.
He probably wanted to wish you luck with the interview. That's tomorrow, isn't it? You don't exactly sound as though you're bursting with enthusiasm.
I'm not sure, Joe. Do you think I'm doing the right thing?
Yes, I'm certain you are, ma'am.
Promotion isn't everything. It doesn't have a built-in guarantee of happiness.
I've known a few who've been pretty miserable through not getting it.
And some who are still miserable after they've got it.
Chief Inspector in charge of the Juvenile Bureau. It has a certain ring to it. You should grab it with both hands, ma'am.
It hasn't been offered to me yet, Joe. I'm only on a short list.
It's yours for the taking. There's no competition worth speaking of.
You're doing wonders for my ego, Joe. I just hope the interview board's equally prejudiced.
Who's on the board, ma'am?
One of the ACCs, probably Harry Mountjoy. Alex Maxwell, Chief Super Personnel. And Jim Catley, Chief Super Community Relations. He also covers the Juvenile Bureau, of course.
Catley. He's the young one that transferred into us, isn't he?
That's right, last year.
Bit of an unknown quantity, then.
Well, I met him at a couple of social do's. He seemed a reasonable sort. Whereas Alex Maxwell...
Well, he's one of the old school, ma'am.
Exactly. One of the old school. He's always very charming to my face, but so far as the job's concerned...
Any thoughts on this board tomorrow?
Without anticipating the interview, I've got my own favourite, yes.
My lad James Wood, you're absolutely right. He's a very good worker.
No, Wood's my second choice, actually. My preference is for Longton.
Kate Longton? Oh, if you go for her, you won't get my vote. You don't want a woman head of bureau, surely.
Why ever not? Just because she's a woman doesn't mean she's incompetent, does it?
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong, Jim. I'm not anti them all. No, some of them are probably very good. But I haven't met one yet who could handle the supervision of men.
With all due respect, ma'am, just look at the opposition. Henry Rowlandson from Wilberley. He's got 100 years' service. He's carved himself a little niche there that they couldn't blast him out of with dynamite. There's no way he'd take a job at headquarters. Albert Trails, traffic. Constable, sergeant, inspector. What he knows about juveniles you could put on the back of a postage stamp. He was only going along to make up the numbers, so there you are.
Not quite, Joe. There's James Wood.
He's headquarters, isn't he?
Yeah, personnel department, actually. His boss is Alex Maxwell, so perhaps it's not as clear-cut as you think. No, between you and me, Joe, if I were totally honest, I'm not sure if I want that job if it's offered.
It's the next step on the ladder.
Where to?
Higher things.
My head says go for it, but my heart isn't so sure. A move to headquarters, selling my little house, the first real place of my own.
It's up to you, ma'am, but since you asked my opinion, I think you should go for that interview. Make 'em have it.
You're just trying to get rid of me.
Here we are. James, sit down. I thought we ought to have a bit of a chat about this board tomorrow. You still want the job, I suppose?
Oh, yes, sir. Mind, it's like I said when you first asked me. I'm prepared to wait until a vacancy comes up outside headquarters.
Look, do you want promotion or do you not? If you want to do it your way, you only need to say there are plenty of others.
No, sir, I want it.
Oh, you said you wanted to read up on this Home Office member?
Oh, yeah. Thanks. Coffee?
Yes, please. I can't stop long.
Show me a minute.
I wanted to see you before you go to the board. Fancy a chance, then?
Who knows? How about giving me a 10-minute rundown on the new act? Police and criminal evidence.
Oh, as the Irish would say, a 10-minute rundown would take half a day.
I just have to play it by ear, then. If they ask me anything I don't know, I just tell them I asked my DCI, and he knew even less than me.
Will you be upset if you don't get picked for the job?
Not in the least. I'll just lie down in front of the interview board, drum my heels on the floor, and sob hysterically.
No, seriously.
I'm being serious.
But headquarters. Is it really your scene?
Well, it's more a question of what's available, isn't it? It's the next rank I'm looking for.
You'll be giving up a lot. All this, your own patch. You'll be stuck in an office with more bosses than a dog has fleas. Needs thinking about.
I have thought about it a lot. You don't think this is a spur-of-the-moment idea, do you? You don't think I should be going after this job, do you?
Yes, if it's what you really want.
Come on. You've been pouring cold water on it all along.
Well, promotion's not always the answer. I want you to be happy, Kate.
I can stop calling you sir. That'll make me happy.
You don't understand, do you?
Look, at this moment, I want this more than anything. And I intend to do my damnedest to get it.
So your mind's made up, then?
Well, on this, certainly. Why are you trying to discourage me?
It's not that. I want what's best for you. I just don't think this is it.
Look, I've managed for the past 20 years by deciding myself what's best for me. I don't think I've done too badly.
Oh, you've muddled through in typical female style. No proper planning.
Go! You're not sitting in my house drinking my coffee, mouthing chauvinist claptrap. I should be annoyed, but I can't be bothered.
There is something I want to talk to you about.
Won't it keep? I really ought to read through this lot before I go on the board. And I must have an early night, or I'll look like Dracula's mother in the morning. Is it very urgent?
I suppose it'll keep till you've got more time. Best of luck for the interview, then.
Thanks, Mark. If you really mean it.
Of course I do.
Me think white man speak with forked tongue.
Not true. If it's what you really want.
Pamela? Don't be silly. Open the door. Pamela, love. Let me in. Come on, Pam. I've got the milk for the children's breakfast.
Hey, James. Clear off. I've told you we're better off without you.
Come on, Pam. Let me in. Please. Look, Pamela, this is beyond a joke. If you don't open the door, I'll have to break in.
If you don't go away, I'm warning you. I'm going to kill myself and the children. Go away.
Morning, Tom. Morning, Danny.
Morning, Mum.
Morning, George.
Morning, Mum. Very smart. Best uniform.
Number one best, George. What I do?
Very impressive. You look quite radiant.
Oh.
All set for the interview?
Yep, today's the day. Headquarters at 12 noon. Up early this morning and I run through the park before breakfast. I really enjoyed it.
Very nice, I'm sure.
It was, George, really. I've been getting idle lately, neglecting the exercise. Gets your system going, sets you up for the day. You should try it sometime, Danny.
Oh, I have thought about it, Mum.
Well, I suppose that's a start. But don't just think about it. Get out there and do it. You too, George.
All right for her. Do you think differently if she had a wife and 3 kids?
Yeah, she'd probably look different if she had a wife and 3 kids, Sarge. Good morning, Artie Police.
Come in. Yes, George?
Mum,
George, you're not wearing your 22-year ribbon.
well, they haven't had the presentation yet.
You've been sent it through Corrie. Put it on. You're entitled.
Yes, so I'll ask the wife to stitch it on. Just sent Brian and Sheila up to Hill Road. The Quigley woman, remember? One we had trouble with 5 or 6 weeks ago.
Wasn't it?
That's the one. Seems she's back home and playing up again.
Back home? So soon?
Came home last week, I understand. The experts decided she's not mental at all. She's got a personality disorder.
She was threatening everybody in sight with a carving knife. Personality disorder might put the poor woman sick. was sat with her for over 3 hours while the doctor arranged her admission to hospital. I know what she's like.
Anyway, they sent her home and it seems she's gone again.
Gone?
Well, flipped. Lost her marbles.
Mrs. Quigley! Mrs. Quigley! Will you open the door, please, Mrs. Quigley?
Go away. Send my husband away. I don't want to talk to anybody.
We've come to help you. Will you let us in, please?
Go away. I don't need any help from any of you. If anybody comes through that door, I'll use this knife. I'll kill them and the children and myself. You can't get in. I've told you what I'll do if you try. I'll kill you.
Brian, take Mr. Quigley to the car, have a chat with him, find out what you can. Keep him out of sight. We'll try and talk to her.
Right. She's got the children in there, Sergeant.
Yes, I know, Mr. Quigley. Do you think she might do them harm?
I honestly don't know. She's had attacks before, but she's never been as bad as this. Isn't there something you can do?
How about a doctor? Would she talk to him?
It's a her, Dr. McCree, West End Health Centre. I think she could talk to Pamela.
Back to Hartley.
I've tried the surgery and she's out in her hands.
Go ahead, Joe.
George, get Dr. McCree, West End Centre, up to this house in Hill Road, PDQ, will you?
Sergeant,
Stand by, George.
can you get your inspector here? When Pamela started acting strange 5 or 6 weeks ago, your inspector was the only one who she would talk to then.
Come in.
Are you available, Mum?
What for, George? I'm just leaving.
Yeah, well, Joe's on the radio, asking if you can go up to Hill Road. The Quigley woman's bottled altogether. She's locked herself in with the children. She says she'll kill them or anyone else who tries to get in, and she's been waving a knife about again.
Tell Joe I'm on my way. Oh, George, would you mind ringing headquarters for me? Tell them I might be a little bit late, but I'll get there as soon as possible. Explain what it is and why I had to go. I might make it on time, but just to be on the safe side. Do you know if they've got the Quigley woman's doctor at Hill Road?
It's Dr. McCree, Mum. She's out on calls at the moment. I'm just trying to raise her.
Right. See you later.
Right. Hartley to Sergeant Beck.
Go ahead, George.
Inspector's on her way, Joe.
Mrs. Quigley, it's Pamela, isn't it? I'm Joe Beck. Do you mind if I call you Pam? Are you there, Pam? Can you hear me? Can I talk to the children, then? Will you let me talk to the children?
Hello, Mr. Quigley.
What about?
What's the situation, Brian?
Thank God you're here, Inspector. Perhaps you can talk to her.
Don't you worry now. I'll talk to her. Everything's going to be all right.
Well, there's been a bit of crashing about, and then it goes very quiet.
Heard anything of the children?
I heard Barbara. She's the 8-year-old. I heard her crying about 5 minutes ago. I haven't heard anything from the baby.
Try not to worry. Brian.
We'll go and sit in the car, out the way. No accident.
No, you're right. I shouldn't really. I gave up for 3 years. Can you believe that? 3 years. When Pamela had her breakdown, I started again.
Now, don't you worry. We'll sort it out. Everything will be all right.
It's the children.
They'll be okay. I promise.
I'll never forgive her for this. I won't.
Now, don't say that, Mr. Quigley. Your wife's sick. She doesn't know what she's doing.
How's it going, Joe?
She's stopped talking altogether now.
Have you had a look around?
Can't see much. She's drawn all the curtains, front and back door are locked solid.
The only open window is in the lounge round the back.
Big enough to get through?
Yes, just about.
What do you reckon the situation is in there, Joe?
It's Sergeant Parrish at Hartley. Our Inspector Longton's due there for an interview at 12. Yeah, that's right. Well, she's asked me to ring you to let you know she might be a bit late. She's dealing with an incident over here. Children at risk. Well, I'm sorry, I don't know, but she'll be there as soon as she can. You'll pass the message on? Right.
I'll just blip twice, Joe, to let you know we're ready. Then start banging on the door. Try to hold her attention. Right, come on, Sheila. All right.
Yes, thanks, Mum. Bit chancy, isn't it?
There's not a lot of choice, is there?
I suppose not really.
But when we do get in, try to keep as calm as possible. Don't do or say anything to excite her. I just hope I can get near enough to talk to her and that she'll listen. Right, come on.
Listen, Pamela, nobody's going to take the children away from you. If you'll open the door, we can talk, that's all. Dr. McCree will be here in a minute. You'll talk to her, won't you? Will you open the door then?
No! No, Doctor! She sent me away. She sent me away again. I'm not going to let anybody in. I've got the baby with me. If anybody tries to get in, I'll throw her down the stairs. No! I'm not going to let anybody in. No, Doctor!
Barbara, can you hear me?
Hello, Pamela. Remember me? It's Kate. Kate Longton.
I don't know you. What do you want? What you doing in here? Keep away! I told you! Told you!
Please, Pamela.
There! Oh, no.
It's all right, Pam. It's all right. Everything's going to be all right.
Pamela and the baby.
They're all okay, Mr. Quigley. Everything's fine. I should just sit in the car for a minute or two.
Hello, Doctor. Good morning. Could you come with me, please? We got a call earlier on this morning from Mr. Quigley. I understand you know his wife.
Right, gentlemen, time we got started. Jim, the vacancy's in your department, so after the initial introductions, we'll leave the bulk of the questioning to you.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Without preempting the interviews, have you any strong views?
Not really, sir. I'm happy to give them all a run.
Come on, Jim, be honest. You're lusting after Kate Longton.
I'm looking for a reliable chief inspector, Alec. Not an ornament for the office.
I know, I was just kidding. You've got to watch out for these young'uns, though, sir. Otherwise, they grab up all the good lookers, they'll leave nought for us old stagers.
I've been watching Alec. If he has his way, he'll have his office like a harem.
But it is the Juvenile Bureau, sir. It's not my fault that the work requires a high proportion of young women.
Methinks he doth protest too much.
All right, Alec. Joking aside, Miss Longton's only one of 4 we've to see. Let's not forget what we've come here to do. We'll make a totally professional assessment of each of them and then select one of them for promotion, right?
Well, yes, of course, sir. But as Miss Longton's name has cropped up, what's the chief's view of her?
From what he said, he thinks very highly of her. Why?
Well, it's just that we might have a situation here.
In what way? She'll get equal consideration with the rest.
Yes, but it's how it could be interpreted. Now, I was talking to a woman officer the other day, and she said, I suppose the Juvenile Bureau job will be given to Kate Longton.
What made her say that?
Well, that's what I asked. And she said, well, it's a job that's to do with handling kids, so it'll be given to her because she's a woman. You see, she saw it as a form of discrimination.
What utter nonsense.
Never crossed my mind to look at it that way.
Oh. I just thought I'd mention it so you know what could be said if we decide to give it to her.
She stands exactly the same chance as the rest. If we decide she's the most suitable, she gets the job. If not, she doesn't. Now, let's get started. Rowlandson first. Thought he said he wasn't prepared to move house from Wilberley.
He has said that in the past, sir, but perhaps he's changed his mind. He's a very experienced inspector.
Yeah, and he's very old. You know, Jim, I'd have thought you'd want to go more with someone on the same wavelength as the youngsters they'll be dealing with. And he'd have to live within easy travelling distance of headquarters, surely.
Oh, yes, Wilberley's out of the question. Let's see what he has to say. Send Mr. Rowlandson in, will you, Molly?
I'll have to get off to headquarters, Sheila. I'm late already. Can you hang on here till everything's settled?
Quigley and the children are settled in with the neighbours for the time being.
How are they, Joe?
He's a bit upset. The kids are drinking orange juice as though nothing had happened.
Keep an eye on them. I've told Sheila to stay back a while, Joe. How is she, Brian?
Quiet, Mum. The doctor's given her a sedative. She's going to arrange readmission.
Good. Well, see you all later.
Best of luck, Mum.
Thanks.
Mum?
What?
Couldn't help noticing.
Oh, no.
Tights, Mum?
Oh, Sheila. What a godsend. You've saved my life.
Another illusion destroyed. Tights. In my fantasy, she always wears stockings and red suspenders. Thank you very much, Mr. Rowlandson. We'll let you know in a day or so what we decide.
Thank you, sir.
Not very impressive.
Just as I said, he's too old, too set in his ways. I wouldn't promote him. He was the last man in the force. I hope the rest are better.
I've just had a message from Hartley, sir, to say Inspector Longton's attending an incident and will be delayed. She'll arrive as soon as possible.
Thank you, Molly. Woman's privilege, I suppose? Well, does she expect us just to sit here and look at each other till she deigns to put in an appearance?
Well, she is attending an incident.
Hairdresser, more likely.
She's the third on our list.
Should I see if I can pull Wood forward from 4?
Well, that would help. See what you can do, Alec. You've other things to do than wait Mr. Longton's convenience. Two down, 2 to go.
Well, those two are a right disappointment.
No relevant experience at all.
I'm surprised, really, that either of them on the short list.
Chief Constable, in his wisdom.
You know, I suspect he stuck those two in just to make up numbers.
This lad Wood has a very impressive record on paper, perhaps a bit short on operational experience.
Oh, he's got an excellent staff appraisal report.
That's likely. You wrote it.
Inspector Wood, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Sit down, Mr. Wood. Please relax. We shan't be trying to catch you out.
Thank you, sir.
I think you know everybody here. Chief Superintendent Maxwell, Chief Superintendent Catley.
Sir.
Thank you very much for making yourself available for this earlier interview.
Happy to be of assistance, sir. I appreciate how valuable your time is. I was able to rearrange a couple of appointments I had. My sergeant can deal with the rest.
Good. Now, let me see. You have 11.5 years' service, and you've been an inspector just over 2 years.
Yes, sir.
You're married, Mr. Wood, with 1 child.
Yes, sir. A boy, aged 3.5. Another expected next month.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
And you live near headquarters, so you wouldn't have the upset of moving house, or the expense either, of course.
That's right, sir.
Well, now, as you know, the post you've applied for is head of the Juvenile Bureau. Now, apart, of course, from being a family man, how do you think you particularly fit that post?
Well, sir, I'm actively involved with my local junior football team. In the near future, I'm expected to be invited onto the management committee of my church youth group.
There's no mention of this in your application.
Well, it's primarily just a personal interest, sir. A hobby, you might say. I didn't mention it because I didn't want to give the impression I was using it to gain some advantage.
Hey, how long have you been doing this?
Not very long, I'm afraid, sir. Duties in connection with the miners' dispute made it difficult.
Are you thinking...
And before that, excuse me, you put in a lot of extra hours in the evenings to get on top of your present job as Inspector in Personnel.
Well, sir...
Well, that was my doing, I suppose, because when I saw how keen he was, I decided to let him go to it.
Only right and proper that his police work should come first. Now, tell us something about your experience as a supervisory officer. Thank you, Inspector. I think that's covered everything.
And thank you, gentlemen, for your time, sir.
Oh.
Goodbye, sir.
Ah. Smart enough, young lad.
Well, I think I can be objective, even though he has been in my department a couple of years. I think he'd fit very well into your department, Jim.
We're not finished yet. There's still Miss Longton.
Oh, she seems to have gone by default, sir.
Hardly, Alec. Her message did say that she was attending an incident. Don't forget that she's an operational officer with operational commitments.
Quite right. And the Chief Constable would be a little displeased, I think, if we made our choice without even seeing her.
I agree, sir. It would be most discourteous.
Has Miss Longton arrived yet, Molly?
She's in the building, sir. She'll be here in a minute.
We'll see her as soon as she is. Suppose we'd better give her time to powder her nose. Very attractive woman. Be a pleasant change talking to her.
Strange she never married.
Yeah. Ex-regular army, I see.
Yeah, commission, too. Didn't she leave because of a fellow?
To get one, or to avoid one.
Inspector Longton, sir.
Ah, come in, Miss Longton. Please sit down, compose yourself.
Thank you, sir. I could do with getting my breath back.
You've had a bit of a rush to get here.
Yes.
You know Chief Superintendents Catley and Maxwell?
Yes, thank you, sir.
As we're running late, I'm sure you'll understand if we get into the interview straight away. Now, we know that you've been an inspector for 4 years and you're currently at Hartley with 24-hour responsibility.
That's correct, sir.
And you live in your own house in Hartley.
Yes, sir.
What was the incident that delayed you this morning?
It was a report of a mentally disturbed woman who had locked herself in a house with her 2 children and was threatening to harm them, sir.
I see. Were you able to bring it to a satisfactory conclusion?
Well, we got the children out unharmed and we got a doctor to the woman. I'm not sure I would describe it as a totally satisfactory conclusion, though.
Oh?
Well, we had a similar incident with the same woman only a few weeks ago. Medical opinion decided then that she was fit to be sent home. It's likely to happen again.
You don't agree with the medical view, Inspector?
No, sir, I don't. Not in this case.
So, you know better than the experts?
I wouldn't say that, sir. I see firsthand the problems that the experts offload onto society, sir.
You appear to feel strongly about it, Miss Longton.
Yes, sir, I do.
Do you think padded cells are the answer?
No, sir, I don't. But neither do I think it's the answer to put the whole family at risk.
And the boss will get this job at headquarters, then?
I hope not.
Me too. If you don't mind me saying so, I think that's a pretty poor attitude.
Better the devil you know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah, well, I think she deserves promotion.
Did I say she didn't?
What? No, but she...
Oh, well, she can just wait.
Why should she have to wait?
Self-preservation.
Why does she need preserving?
Not her, you pillock. Us.
Why us?
In the last 7 years, Daniel, I've had 3 different inspectors. 2 of them women. They've all come here with their own bright ideas on how Hartley should be policed. We've put in a lot of time and effort training them to our ways, haven't we, George?
Blood, sweat and tears it's been.
And we're not ready to take on another just yet. Kate Longton's adapted pretty well to the Lewis system, so she can just stay on a bit.
What's the Lewis system?
The LUAH system, Danny, stands for Leave Us Alone at Hartley. We've been playing that system for years, and believe me, it's a sight more effective than 4-2-4 or 4-4-2 or whatever Bobby Robson's got the England team playing.
The next boss could decide he wants a sweeper. And it could be you.
Thank you, Miss Longton. Mr. Catley?
I've nothing more, sir.
Mr. Maxwell?
Yes, thank you, sir. You're not married, Inspector Longton.
No, sir.
What experience have you had with young people?
I had a very active involvement in Hartley Youth Club, sir.
You say had. Is this no longer?
I am still involved, sir, but less so than previously.
Why is that?
The leader changed. The new leader doesn't seek a close relationship with the police. In fact, the membership is not encouraged to be friendly towards us.
Isn't that all the more reason to try to get police involvement?
Oh, we have tried, sir. But it takes effort on both sides. We've not found the present management receptive to our approaches.
Yes, but you had a closer, more personal relationship with the previous leader.
Sir?
The previous leader, the one who went abroad somewhere, was a close friend of yours.
We were friends, yes, sir. We shared an interest in running.
Well, was it his withdrawal that led to your reduced involvement now?
Not directly, sir. It was the change of attitude following his leaving.
I see. Yeah. Well, on the subject of friends, Inspector, and please, don't think this is idle curiosity, do you have a regular man friend?
I would have to ask you to define the word regular, sir. There are men I go out with from time to time. Some very occasionally, and one or two more often.
But no marriage plans?
As they say, sir, it's manners to wait until you're asked.
But, as they also say, you're open to offers?
From the right person, yes, sir.
Ah, yes. Mr. Wright. And children.
Children, sir?
Are you fond of children, Miss Longton?
Yes, I am, sir. Very fond of children.
So that if Mr. Wright came along, it would be likely that children would follow. I'm sorry to have to ask such personal questions, but I'm sure you appreciate such matters can directly affect a woman's career.
I'm sorry you think it necessary to ask, sir. I understood I was to be interviewed as a potential chief inspector, not as a broodmare.
I'm sorry if what has been said has caused you embarrassment, Miss Longton. I'm sure that wasn't Mr. Maxwell's intention. But we do think that your future marital intentions are relevant.
Look, may I say, sir, for the record, I have presently no plans to marry. But like my male colleagues, I reserve the right to do so at the appropriate time. And I can assure you, sir, that if and when that time comes, the Chief Constable will be among the first to know.
Please, sit down, Miss Longton.
May I have your permission to leave, sir? I no longer wish to be considered further for this post.
If you're sure.
Yes, I am sure, sir. I think it better to leave now before things are said which might be regretted.
Very well, you may go. If you wish, you may come and see me again to discuss things. When you are feeling more composed.
Thank you, sir.
Well, you've certainly touched a nerve there, Alec.
I think you went too far.
Predictably. You've just seen your fancied horse fall at the first fence. It all just goes to support what I've always said. Women are psychologically and emotionally unfitted for management posts.
The only emotion that you managed to arouse in her was one that's common in men as well, blazing temper.
Well, I should hate to see her in a real operational situation.
You didn't put your man Wood under the same pressure, as you call it, harry him about his personal life.
Perhaps you were a bit hard with her, Alec. But there it is. Can we discuss our recommendation for the post now?
Well, it's got to be Wood, in my opinion.
Jim?
Well, I still think that Kate Longton's worth consideration.
She effectively withdrew herself from consideration, Jim. Well, I agree with you, Alec. Wood is the best of the other three. Jim?
Of the other three, perhaps.
So, Wood it is. I'll tell the Chief it was a unanimous decision.
Heard anything about your move to CID?
No. I told Mr. Perrin I don't want it.
Oh, wish to give me the chance.
Yeah, well, your turn will come.
You hanging back for the sergeant's job, then?
Not really.
You must be in the frame for something soon.
I don't want anything that'll mean moving house. Not with things the way they are.
No. How is your Linda?
Much the same.
Listen, the lads, well, we've been talking, and they suggested I talk to you, us being mates. Is there nothing can be done for her?
They say not. Nothing.
I mean, nothing anywhere. America or Russia.
It just takes its course.
Look, if it's a question of money, the lads want you to know they want to help. If there's owed, sponsorships, fundraising, walks, but anything. You just say the word, right?
We've had it to the best people there are. They all say there's no cure. Not anywhere in the world.
Are they sure, though?
Janice and me have talked it. Uphill and down dale. Night and day. We've seen people. Taken advice. We've tried everything. Eventually, you have to accept it, Danny. You have to accept it and carry on. There are no miracle cures.
We just wondered.
I know, Danny. Look, don't let the lads think I'm ungrateful, but we mustn't kid ourselves. Build up false hopes. Are you doing anything special tonight?
Nothing particular. Why?
Well, come round, why don't you? You can have some dinner with us. Give Janice a laugh.
You missed out what the neighbour told you about Mrs. Quigley.
I didn't think I could put that in, Sarge. It's hearsay, isn't it?
You couldn't put it in a statement, but you could put it in a report.
Never understood hearsay evidence anyway.
Well... Well, well. I think somebody's in need of a hot, strong cup of tea, Sheila.
Yes, Sarge.
Yes, come in. Oh, see you, Sheila. Come in.
Thought you might like a brew, Mum.
Thanks. That's just what I need. Shut the door. Are you a feminist?
Not really, Mum. I've never thought it necessary.
No, that's how I've always felt. But by hell, after today.
That bad?
You know, I was in the army for 7 years. That's a pretty macho setup. But they could take lessons from the police in male chauvinism.
I suppose I've been lucky up to now as far as that's concerned.
Just wait till you start to get on. Be seen as a threat. We know a woman has to be twice as good to be accepted as equal. I mean, you see male officers who are scruffy, incompetent, with a sickness record like the Doomsday Book. But if a woman isn't smartly turned out and pulling her weight, it's a case of what do you expect? She's a woman. I've seen 16 years of it, but today we reached new heights.
It didn't go too well then.
I think you could say it went with a bang. At one stage I bottled. I almost told them to stop the promotion and the rest of the police force with it.
Did you? Great.
I said almost. Let's not get carried away. As far as that job's concerned, I might just as well have done.
Are you not too disappointed?
Not really. I didn't want to move to headquarters anyway. It's just the way they went about it. And I let them get to me. I suppose that's what makes me so blazing mad. Still, what's done?
Success?
That's all, Mum.
Thanks, Sheila.
Who's a clever girl, then?
I blew it, Mark.
Give over.
It's true.
I'd have thought you'd have walked it. What went wrong?
Well, for starters, I arrived late. I was held up on a job, and it went downhill from there.
Arrived late? Well, that wasn't very clever. Gets you off on the wrong foot.
I was on a job. I didn't do it on purpose.
I'm not saying you did, Kate. I'm just saying it's not a very good way to start.
I know that!
I really am very sorry, love. I knew you'd be upset if it didn't work out.
Upset? Far from it. In fact, I'd already decided I didn't want the job if it was offered.
You don't have to pretend to me, Kate. I remember what you said last night.
Ah, that was last night. I've slept since then.
Oh, come on. Be serious. What happened to make you change your mind?
Women don't need a reason to change their mind.
Well, you can't win them all.
I don't expect to win them all, as you put it. All I expect is to be allowed to compete under the same rules.
Go on, then. You better tell me about it from the beginning.
I don't know the details, Sarge. Just that she didn't get it.
She's still upset.
I think blazing mad would be nearer to it.
Hell hath no fury.
Sheila? It's just come off in my hand. I don't suppose
What a pity, Danny. They don't make them like they used to.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
You can always do a temporary job with a matchstick at the back.
And that's how it finished.
Near enough. The ACC tried to sugar the pill, but I'm afraid he had to be told.
I can see now why you feel so aggrieved. But they'll understand. I'm over at headquarters in the morning. I'll have a word with the ACC. There'll be no lasting damage done.
What?
If you like, I'll let him know how annoyed you are.
You'll explain, will you, that it can all be put down to my age? Hormonal imbalance? Or one of those emotional quirks peculiar to women? You'll do no such thing, Mark. That board was prejudiced, grossly unfair and totally unprofessional. Any apology or explanation should be offered by them, not by me.
Oh,
And what's more, Mark, on this issue, you are the last person I'd pick to present my case for me.
Oh, great. You turn on me when I show an interest. Try to help.
Help? Your only interest is in perpetuating the male status quo.
Well, if that's true, why am I here then?
I don't know, unless it's a gloat.
Oh, now you're being paranoid.
You're not denying you didn't want me to get that promotion.
No, I admit it. I didn't want you to get that job.
Huh? Couldn't you face equality?
Because I think you'd be better off without it.
I don't know how I've managed all these years without you to tell me what's good for me.
Well, it could be better in the future.
Oh, and now you're going to tell me in what way it could be better?
Well, if you're interested...
Go on, I can't wait to hear this.
By sharing the responsibility. A partnership.
Are you proposing to me?
Yes. I think it could work.
And that's how you think things could be better for me? Marriage? The male solution to all the little woman's problems? Come in.
Excuse me, Mum. Dr. McCree's here. She'd like a word. Pamela Quigley's been readmitted.
Show her into the interview room, Joe. I'll be through in a minute.
Right, Mum?
Look, I know it's meant with the best of intentions, but your sense of timing, I mean, of all the days to pick. I'm sorry, Mark, you'll have to excuse me.
Well, very nice being rejected. Is it?
Next on Drama, we catch up with London's finest police. The good folk of Sun Hill are on the beat. In the bill.
Aye, that's enough. I'm going for a trip, man. Oh, you're like a babby, ye. Why didn't you gone before we came out?
Stand still. And turn around. I hate thieves. I'd rather give stuff away. Just a...
Away, Chinta!
Morning, Molly. Morning, Joe.
Morning, Mum.
George. All quiet?
Yes, yes.
Oh, George, I want the Christmas party organising properly this year. Put someone in charge. 2 people. Then there'll be no excuses. In their own time.
2 people.
I'd like to report a robbery. Hey? Here? Here, aye.
There's no money in it, Bobby. It's our profit, Ziggy, our profit.
You are not keeping them here.
Look, 2 days and they'll be on the streets.
Where?
Manchester, Liverpool, Birmingham.
2 days, you. And this is the last time, right?
Great, Ziggy. Great, man. Me and Chin will have him in as soon as we've had a pint. You buying then?
Go.
It's not me I'm worried about. It's you. You couldn't organise a blaze in a match factory.
Listen, we'll lie on a bar and a room at a pub. And then we'll get everyone to do a turn. No one accepted.
Look, it's bad enough you lot leering at the public. Don't start on me.
Christmas is a time when we all make our money. You, me, God.
God?
Of course, God. He invented it, didn't he? Got to be a percentage in there somewhere.
Check the book.
What am I looking for?
It's the Christmas bookings. They're all confirmed, except this one.
Mr. Beck. Who's Mr. Beck?
It's a repeat booking from last year.
We are not obliged to honour any bookings from last year. We were not here last year.
They made a deposit. It says here.
On your way home, get a look at the room. There's been a change in management and we don't want to get lumbered.
George, I need some help. Oh, by the way, you two, I want you to make sure it goes with the swing this year. See that everyone contributes. You too, Sheila, show him how it ought to be organised.
Yes, Mum.
And you, George, set a good example.
So, what's it going to be, Sarge?
What?
Oh, yeah. Exotic dancing, conjuring, juggling.
Exotic dancing? There's not going to be any exotic dancing, is there?
Oh, yeah, bound to be.
I don't think I'll go.
Put me down for juggling.
Oh, fine.
For the overtime duty rosters.
Whoops. Smart, Bryce. And you watch it, you. We'll have your exotic dance audition here and now.
Yeah, dressed up like terrorists.
2 of them.
Aye.
Taller than me, shorter than me.
Well, about the same. I don't know. Will there not be no identity parade, like, kind of thing?
Well, I thought you didn't see them properly.
Nay, but if you give me the wink, I could pick 'em out.
I should get rid of that television if I were you. It's twisting your thinking.
Well, just a suggestion.
Look, it's not a rugby club, is it?
No.
Why?
Well, we have to get old waitresses if it is, and that doesn't always work either.
Oh, looks fine.
Now, will you want an extension? Only, if we close the doors and if you don't tell anyone, we can usually stretch it to half an hour. The police are very good round here. Oh, by the way, there's a disco in the basement the same night.
Hey, Bri.
It's mainly for young people, but the noise shouldn't bother you up here.
Uh-huh.
Well, it's been days since I've got anything but a brief hello. Why have you been avoiding me?
I've been trying to sort things out in my mind.
And have you?
In a way,
What does that mean?
people change. Relationships change. Nothing stays the same.
I still want to marry you. That hasn't changed.
Why do you want to marry me? To have children? To live in the same house? To make my name yours?
Look,
to make me yours?
Don't twist it. It's a mixture of all those things. I want you.
I can't answer you, Mark. I can't give you the answer you want. I've got to find some answers of my own first.
What are you talking about?
The job? Hartley? If I don't get those answers, the answers I need...
What?
I may find it's time for me to leave.
Leave? Leave what? Hartley, the police, what?
Maybe both, Mark. Maybe both. Morning, Danny.
Morning, Mom.
Morning, Bob.
Mum? A bit of a near squeak on a pedestrian crossing, Mum.
Yeah, look.
How do you feel?
I'm a bit shaken.
What happened?
A van overtaking a car just as the car was letting people cross the road.
Get the number.
Just about to, Mum.
Right, see if you can get hold of Sheila. Sorry. Constable Keller will look after you. George, can you come in?
Alex.
I didn't get the number, but there were some trees sticking out the back.
Trees?
Like Christmas trees, you know.
So what are you going to do?
Avoid it.
You can't afford to. It's a time of goodwill to all men. We've all got to make pillocks of ourselves. It makes the next year more bearable.
They wouldn't let you go without a struggle. A good lady copper's worth a fortune as far as image goes.
That's the sort of thing that drives me mad, you know.
Why, what?
The sort of thinking that equates me with a prize-winning police horse.
Oh, part of the real world. Face facts.
You don't even begin to understand what I'm talking about.
We could get 500 in here, you know.
Well, it's your funeral, Cyril Bowles. Your funeral.
Anyway, we've got no choice. We sold, what, 230 tickets? The staff get 30 comps. By God, what's that smell?
Hey up. Here comes trouble.
What are you doing?
Giving Mother Nature a helping hand.
When's Chinny coming back for the rest of these?
In the morning.
I don't trust you, Bobby.
I'm paying your rent, aren't I?
You're promising me rent.
Listen, I'd sooner own here forever than do you out of it.
Would you come through this way,
Got
please,
a
miss?
super class, was it? Yeah, right. Thanks very much.
Can you tell Sergeant Parrish I'll be back just before 5, all right?
Certainly, Mum, no problem.
Mum! Oh, yes. Can you do me 3 copies?
Hartley Police. Yeah, Chinta. Spell it.
Your headbanger mate has been nicked.
Chinta, doing what?
Flogging bent Christmas trees. These! Out! What's up?
If Chinta's bought it, I've got no van.
Just canter that past once more for me, will you, Bobby? I didn't quite see who was up.
It's Chinny's van, Siggy. Chinta's the driver.
You drive.
I've got no licence.
You've got no licence for nicking Christmas trees either, but it didn't stop you, did it?
I'm suspended.
Be suspended a lot higher and longer if you don't get these out of here first thing in the morning. Tomorrow, Bobby.
Yes, love?
It's expired.
Deal with it, Constable.
I climbed up the back of the van, and there were Christmas tree needles all over the floor.
Right. Hang on here a minute.
I wrote the licence number down.
Oh, fine. What was the number?
LRE 120P.
Thanks.
Those knock-off Christmas trees. Oh, yeah, Manchester Bobbies did an address check on a fella selling stolen Christmas trees. Chinta.
And? Well, the failure to stop van, the young woman said the back was full of Christmas tree needles.
The plot thickens.
Thanks, Yvonne. That's lovely.
Will there be anything else?
No, I don't think so. Night.
Night, Mum.
Yes, George?
Got a lead on the Christmas trees, Mum. Well, a couple of leads, as a matter of fact. A fella called Chinta, local fella, caught selling them in Worsley.
Oh.
And a witness spotted a van with Christmas trees in the back. It's parked in Rafferty Street now, registered in Chinta's name.
Sorry, George. Watch on the van?
Sparks and Kelleher, Mum.
Good.
Something the matter, Mum?
No, George.
Morning, sir. Nice van. Mind stepping down?
You want to lock your van, sir? Villains about.
According to Mr. Perrin, Costain thinks the van's the same one. Bun and Chinta fit the broad description of the offenders, and Chinta's fingerprints are on the van. Mind you, it is his.
What about the trees Chinta was flogging?
Our arresting officer had a clear choice. Chase Chinta or stay with the trees. There'll be a few pirate Christmas trees around Worsley this year.
Have you worked out your turn for the Christmas party yet?
I think me and George might surprise a few. And you, ma'am?
Me?
Well, you'll be doing something, surely. You wouldn't be expecting special treatment.
That'll be quite enough from you, Sergeant.
Christmas comes but once a year, ma'am.
It's a pagan festival. A relic. It's got absolutely nothing to do with the nativity.
Ta-da!
You are joking.
Sure as I'm riding this bike, Bri, old son. Couple of packets of crisps on a function room floor, and the audience will be as putty in our hands. Oh, Sheila, slip your skirt off a minute. I want to show you a little trick.
Jump up and down on it, Sparks. You've got no chance.
Oh, you'd be great, Sheila.
I won't be at the party, will I? I've got to go to Carlisle Magistrates Court.
Well, we'll have to find someone.
What is it, anyway?
Wilson, Keppel and Betty.
Sand dancers.
Why don't you ask Inspector Longton? She's got the figure for it.
Christmas comes but once a year, Bri. Once a year.
Aye. Still, it looks like turning out better than I ever thought it would.
Yeah, listen. How are things at home?
Oh, life goes on, Danny. Yeah, we're just grateful for every day we still have her with us.
What are we going to do about all these Christmas trees?
We? Hey up, we've got company.
Mr. Bowles? There's something wrong. It is Mr. Bowles, isn't it?
Don't worry about the boots.
You gave me a shock. Mr. Bowles, these are the people who booked the rose run for next Friday.
There's nothing the matter, is there, Mr. Bowles?
No.
Only we want to check the room, see if the little stage is big enough.
Well, help yourself. You know the way, fellas.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Scoffers.
Well, how was I to know? They looked all right to me.
And we've got a basement full of funny Christmas trees.
Well, nobody's laughing, Sue.
Why don't you do a Victorian monologue? She stood on the bridge at midnight, throwing snowballs at the moon, and she said she'd never had it, but she spoke to flipping Sue.
Sorry, sir. Christmas party, right?
Yes, sir.
I always used to give them the green eye of the little yellow god. They stopped inviting me for some reason.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello, Kate. Just passing. Thought I'd drop in, see how my favourite woman inspector's coping with the festive season.
I don't want you to buy them, Clocker. I just want them away from here. Look, you can flog them, you can burn them, you can bury them. They are yours au gratin if you just come and take them away. Right, you've got 2 days. Give me a bell so as I can undo the side door. Right. Clocker.
You can't trust Clocker.
I shall have to, shan't I?
Yes, I put Danny Sparks and Brian Kelleher in charge of organising the Christmas party.
I heard your 2 sergeants rehearsing outside. They're quite tuneful. So, tell me, why are you thinking of leaving the force?
May I ask who told you, sir?
You know who told me, Kate. He said he had good reason to believe you were about to do something you might regret later.
How did he phrase it?
About to do something stupid, he said.
I see.
If he hadn't told me and I'd lost you, I'd have had his guts for garters.
Ah, it ought to go down right well.
You're stupid, you two, or what? The chief super's in the boss's office. It's a bad time to be playing snake charming music. Organise a couple of cups of tea, will you?
Sarge.
One of them ought to be strong enough to stand the spoon up in.
Woman as victim. Is that how you see yourself?
No, sir. Look, I've belonged to this force for 16 years. And suddenly my confidence in it has been shaken. I'm not sure of myself. I'm not sure of the force.
But you'll not leave, will you?
I don't want to, but I might have to.
I should be desperately sorry to lose you, Kate.
I should be desperately sorry to go.
These boards, they set out to disturb, to unsettle, to find weaknesses.
I know. It was demeaning to find out that being a woman was considered a weakness.
This force is a very male force. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes, sir. Believe me, I do.
Because of that, it needs the extra strength that a woman like you can bring.
Oh.
Yes, strength. Think about it, Kate. And remember, there are other opportunities, just as important as the one that slipped away.
Thank you, sir.
Enlightened self-interest, Kate. That's all. Ah, Mark. Just the man. Don't forget, Sergeant, there's a one-eyed yellow idol to the north of Kathmandu.
I'll bear it in mind, sir.
Do.
George, are you doing a recitation?
It might be a choice between that and diplomatic illness. What are you doing?
I may do a spot of fire eating. Seems to be a great deal of nothing going on in here today.
Spot of social secretarying, Mom.
Yes?
We wondered, me and Danny,
If you wouldn't mind joining us
in a little musical number.
Well, unless you've got something else of your own in mind, like, Mum.
All right. Why not?
Great.
You've got something in mind, have you?
Oh, aye.
All right, then. We'll discuss it later.
It's you that wants rinsing. Well, they're worth about £3 each, you know, Clocker.
Not down there, they're not. And they've already put Bobby Bunn and his mate inside.
Who told you?
I didn't need telling, Siggy. How big's Hartley? And how many times do you get offered bent Christmas trees? Christmas comes but once a year.
What are you trying to tell me, Clocker?
I want 50 quid off you for moving the greenery. And a delivery note, in case I hear a loud noise and see a blue light on the M6.
Poke it in your ear.
And a broken-hearted woman tends the grave of mad Carew while the yellow god forever gazes down. You in it straight, are you?
I thought I'd do it with due regard for the gravity of the piece, yes.
If you change your mind, let me know. There's a way to put a bit of juice in it. Bring the house down.
And a gash across his temples, dripping red. Arthur! Mind the desk, will you?
What?
This is not a good idea, Sybil.
I'm all out of good ideas, Jane. All out.
So what are you going to do about the disco?
I'm not going to do anything. The DJ will play the records, the kids will shake their legs, the bar will sell tequila surprises, and I shall be upstairs with the police saying, yes, sir, no, sir, thank you, ma'am. Hoping they don't notice just how frightened I am. Have you got any better ideas, then?
I do the gestures, you do the words.
It looks stupid.
And thus disarm criticism. Begin.
Great.
Where's Sergeant Parrish?
Rehearsals, Ma'am.
Speaking of which, Brian, our little musical interlude seems shrouded in a great deal of secrecy. We've only 3 days, you know.
Well, we thought we'd have a rehearsal tomorrow lunchtime, Mom, if that's all right with you.
Fine. What is it, exactly?
Well, I'd sooner you ask Danny, Mom. It's his brainchild.
Could you spare a minute, sir?
I am in a bit of a hurry. Yes, okay.
My office.
It seems a bit,
It's tried and tested.
Have you ever actually seen it in practice?
Look me in the eye.
Go on.
Would a colleague, someone who's been with you through thick and thin, what do you want?
Brian and me, we wondered. If we could rehearse in your dinner time tomorrow.
Yes. Up it. When you say, to the north of Kathmandu, I take the finger and the thumb, place them gently so, and turn your whole head to the north.
Okay, I don't blame you for telling Bellway, but why didn't you tell me you were going to?
Well, I was hoping you'd have told him. You should have. How would you feel if I found out Joe Beck was thinking of leaving and didn't say anything to you about it? I had to tell him. I told him, and then I skated over here as fast as I could motor, but he'd beaten me to it.
What did you tell him?
That you were thinking of leaving.
Yes.
He said if I had any sense, I'd marry you and make sure you stayed.
What?
He was joking. Why won't you marry me? You've never told me why.
Look, maybe I do want to get married. Maybe all this turmoil inside is due to that one simple fact. Maybe that promotion board was half right. Maybe I do want to marry you and have your children. But...
But what?
How old are you, Mark?
What's my age got to do with anything?
It's got a lot to do with it. Why aren't you married? You've had other women. You've had other relationships where you've been close to people. How many times have you reached this point before and then just walked away?
This is different.
Yes, it might be. But is it only different because you can see that I'm in a personal crisis and you feel obliged to ride to the rescue? Now then. Well, we haven't got all day, you know. It's tomorrow night. What exactly do you want me to do?
We thought we'd do that bold gendarme thing, you know, from Gilbert and Sullivan. You know how it goes, Mum. We're public gendarmes, bold yet wary, and of ourselves we take good care.
Yeah, and we thought we'd bend our knee when we did it, Mum.
Yeah, we thought that'd be good.
Oh, no need to dress up then.
No, Mum.
But we could take our hats, wear our hats, Mum.
That's right.
Fine. Shall I stand in the middle?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Is that the music?
Yes. No. Oh, no.
Oh, well, never mind. I know the tune.
Oh, good.
It's Offenbach, by the way, not GNS.
Oh, right.
Oh, come on, I could do with a giggle.
You'd like to start us off, Brian?
Mum?
Right. We're public gendarmes, bold
yet wary, and of ourselves we take good care.
Pull the door to it. Chief Super's on his way in.
Inspector Longton in?
Yes, I'll get her, sir.
Tell her I'd like a word with you, say in about 10 minutes in her office. Looks as though Yvonne was right.
Well, not George. You don't relish change at my time of life.
I'm sorry to say that I can't be more definite. But I do need to get away. And getting away from Hartley will give me a fresh outlook. Perhaps I'd be better off in another force. I've even toyed with the idea of taking time out to do an open university course.
You may be right. In the end, it comes down to what you want to do with your life. I shall want to talk to you again before you finally decide.
There's no excuse. You're bottled out. Quite. And now, no one will ever know.
Know what, Sarge?
You see, you don't even know yourself. Wheels within wheels.
Get over to the pub, you two, will you? Check all the details and then check again. This do might just turn out important.
It was a CV, a curricula vitro.
Yeah. Which you only make if you're applying for jobs, Joseph. She's leaving.
If it had been confidential, she'd never have given it to Yvonne. She's got a mouth like cockermouth.
Oh, she's comparatively reliable.
In what way?
She tells everybody everything.
Now then, gents.
We've just got a few last points. You know, we want to go through a checklist.
Yeah, have a last look round.
Fine. Well, Jean here will show you anything you want to see. And, well, meet me at the bar later. I'll buy you a pint.
Right. Before you start, Brian, there won't be any problem if we saunter down to the disco later on, will you? When the old folk are out the game. We'll bring you back a balloon.
And a piece of Christmas cake.
Now, you just behave yourselves, the pair of you. Never mind, Arthur. At least you won't have a headache in the morning, whereas you two will be on parade 6 a.m. sharp. Do you know, I almost wish we'd stuck with your original plan.
Beg pardon, Mum.
Well, if we'd done Wilson, Keppel and Betty, all I'd have had to worry about would be the hem of my skirt. This way, it's words and music, too. See you later.
I'm gonna kill you.
You'll thank me in the long run. Yeah, it'll be one less embarrassing moment to bring up at your retirement.
Retirement? Me? I'm not gonna retire. I'm gonna die the death of a hero in the saddle, saving a queen
Get
from
a
all of our
move on.
marauders.
This is the one evening in the year when you really have got a good reason for squeezing your blackheads.
There is no way on God's earth that you were going to smash an egg on my forehead.
It's the climax of the piece. Without that, there's no artistic integrity.
There's also no egg dripping down the chin.
I'd never have figured you for a man without a sense of humour, George.
Yes, you would. Well, you'd have done it without asking.
You're right. Very little egg, then.
Almost exactly no egg at all, Joseph.
Would you like another run-through?
Why not?
Inspector Longton gone, has she?
Well done by now, I should think. I'll be glad when this thing's over.
Rubbish, you love it. The roar of the grease paint, the smell of the crowd, I bet this brings it all back.
All it brings back is a mounting sense of panic. My mother was right. I should have gone down the mine.
We can do that next. If this doesn't work, we might have to. Come on. And take it slowly.
There's a one-eyed yellow idol to the north of Kathmandu. There's a little marble cross below the town. And a broken-hearted woman tends the grave of Mad Carew, while the yellow god forever gazes down. There's a one-eyed yellow idol to the north of Kathmandu. There's a little marble cross below the town. And a broken-hearted woman tends the grave of Mad Carew, while the yellow god forever gazes down.
You,
Beck.
Come here, let me waggle.
I just followed the old theatrical maxim.
Well, smash an egg in your mate's head.
If it feels right, do it. Come on, I'll give you a rub down.
Thank God for tactful sergeants. Hey, remember me?
Looks like I'll have to, doesn't it? Looks like that's all I'll be able to do.
Don't think it's just you, Mark.
It's not a question of what it's just. The effect's the same.
I have to do this, you know. For me. For my own self-respect.
3 minutes more, I reckon Tom will last that long before they lynch him.
3 minutes, Mom.
Yeah, I've told her, Bri.
Oh, well, I've told her again, haven't I?
Out!
Cheer up. People are supposed to be happy at Christmas.
That's what they'd have you believe.
Mark.
Me, I've never had a happy Christmas. Take no notice. Booze talking.
Hey, yup. It's bad penny time.
Didn't be like that, Cyril. We're going to do a good tone, main clock. Aren't we, clock out?
No, not tonight, buddy.
I haven't want any bother, Cyril. Open the back door, right? And we'll be on our way before the last waltz.
I've got coppers upstairs, you know, so make sure they don't come down.
Can't just charge off. Who's going to notice? Come on. No. Well, I'm going for a bop. If anyone wants to know, I've gone for a breath of fresh air. I'll see you later, Brian, all right?
I'll back the van in. You keep a lookout.
That'll be locked down there.
I'll get Siggy to make sure.
Thanks.
Thanks, it's been smashing.
I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Where's your mate, Danny?
Oh, he's downstairs with the younger set.
In the disco?
Aye.
Look, I'll just nip down and tell him to stop serving drinks after hours. It'll save your mate being put in an awkward position.
All clear. Lucky I had you over here. Bunny got bail. Been round to collect the greenery with Clocker.
That little cup is down here somewhere.
You slide round the back, tell Bun and Clocker to take what they've got and vanish.
Right.
Don't go away. Gate crashers. Yeah, but all the same, sunshine, I mean, what if there's a fire? Listen, you're not even supposed to be down here, are you? You look the other way, and I'll look the other way. All right.
Come on, for God's sake, take him!
Beat it, Bunny, beat it! Chief, get inside and talk to that copper.
Right.
You get back on the door. I'll deal with that copper. I have seen him. He's in here somewhere.
Hell! What? Let me have a look inside.
Leave it, man!
Just a minute.
Who's that? It's the filth clocker.
Come on.
You've done him. I'm got him.
Well, Kate, thank you for a lovely party.
Oh, I'm glad you came, sir. I must be going too.
I should like to come and see you tomorrow, if I may. Nothing to do with him this time. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Ta-da.
Only if you marry me afterwards.
I've got to check the merchandise first.
True. Not at this time of night. Come on.
Is it under control?
I don't know. Have you called the fire brigade? How many were there in there?
Oh, about 200.
What's the matter?
Shock. Get someone to look after her.
How many exits are there? Were there many trapped in there?
How did it start? Does anyone know?
What does Danny say? He was down there.
Brian?
Danny!
Can you clear, please? Is he breathing?
He's fooling. He's always doing it.
Come on, Brian. He's not fooling this time.
How is he?
We don't know, love, but he looks bad. What are you doing here anyway? Thought you were in Carlisle.
He's been adjourned, held over. Is Danny badly hurt?
All right. I've got 2 names from the lady in the pub. Clocker and Bunn. Joe Beck and Braithwaite have gone to their addresses. Is the inspector back from the hospital yet?
No, not yet, sir.
Right. I'll wait in her office.
You should have gone to the hospital.
I thought I'd be more use here.
Bartley Police? No, sir. She's still at the hospital. Yes, sir. Mr. Bellway wants the boss to ring him.
Where's Perrin? Clocker and Bunn have disappeared. We've got the lorry number.
Where's Braithwaite?
He's on his way back. Clocker's girlfriend says he has a flat in Walkden where he goes.
Is that the address?
Yeah.
See to it, Joe.
Kate?
I'll talk to you all in a minute. Can you come through, sir? He's dead, Mark. He died in the ambulance.
I'm sorry.
If ever I had a reason to stay in the force.
Yes. Yes, I know. You've got to tell them.
I know. I just needed a minute.
Yes. You've picked them up.
Good. Will you come with me?
She'd have said, you know, that...
I've got some very bad news for you all. For us all. Danny Sparks is dead. He died in the ambulance on the way to the hospital. There's nothing I can say that will make it any better for you. All we can do is...
Hartley, please? Yes, sir. Can I have your name and address?